What up? Here we are. Welcome in on this day, Thursday, January 28th, 2021. Jason Ross, Doug Christie.
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
You sure?
Why? Prepared for what?
I know it's your power isn't on.
It's not on. You're good? What do you mean? Am I prepared to stay at the Christie Estates?
Well, we not rolling like that, but
Christie Castle?
not quite.
The guest house?
No.
Sleeping bag?
We're getting closer.
Okay.
But I got you, though.
The sidecar?
Hold on, man. No power for you, huh?
No, it's been a while. I know we're not the only ones, but yeah, we don't have power at the moment. And not at the moment. It's been almost 2 days.
Wow. Okay.
And
we had Brother Mark Jones freshly here from Miami. He tweeted out, "Hey man, if I'd have known, I'd have brought my generator from the crib in Miami. You know, they deal with hurricanes."
Yes, they do.
We've been blessed not have a power outage. Holla at your boy if you need something.
Okay. But
I'm here for you.
It was fun this morning. I'd say fun for maybe 3 times doing the seeing my breath in the house.
It was like that.
I go, whoa, I could see my breath. I go,
What'd they tell you?
my breath.
What'd they tell you?
We're working on it.
Okay.
Which I do believe that, but we're not the only people without power. We have a small grid, I guess, apparently, around our area, and not every house in our area is out, but
not all houses are created equal.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like every house in Sacramento has the power on, but one. Well, the one is not too happy. We're not one.
There's one word for you.
What's that?
Generator.
Is that 4 words?
No,
just stretched out.
Yes, and
then what do we do with that?
Spell it just like it sounds.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Light up the house?
No. I would say get it hooked to your grid. So a small percentage of your home is, like the refrigerator.
Yeah.
The heat.
I think you're talking about like a home, not a portable generator.
Heat, excuse me, but because it's not electric, your heat is probably gas. Is that right?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
if
you got a fireplace?
Yeah.
Is it cracking?
Not at the moment.
You chopping wood?
We have wood. We had trees removed to help build our pool a couple years ago, so we have the wood to burn. Not the problem. We could do that. It's just not a lot of other things to do in a house.
All right. Just asking, man.
We spent some car time, quality family car time after the Kings win, watching, my son was watching movies in the back seat. We ate dinner in the car.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That can
be fun.
Yeah.
Family bonding time.
Now, it's cool once. Maybe if we have to do it tonight, okay. But if we're getting into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I mean, look, there are worse things. We have our health. We have each other. That's awesome. But,
okay.
But it's not like it's everybody that's out. So then you go, okay, well, we're waiting on our turn. And our turn will come.
Okay, I got you.
But you're good.
Let's get her done.
Yeah.
Thought I'd throw that out there. Anywho.
Is anybody from SMUD if you want to drop by the house?
I'll let your boy. That was a build-up, man.
Yes, it was.
Right at the end. Bang.
But you good? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's good, man. We're hanging in there.
Can we talk about, is 2 games a win streak?
Yes, it is.
It's a streak.
Yeah.
We're all going streaking.
You're streaking. You're not butt naked, but you got like your socks and your underclothes on, but you're getting ready. You're getting ready.
So like each win, we're taking off another layer of clothing?
Absolutely.
So if it's 3, we're pretty much all out there.
And it always depends on what you got underneath. I'm just saying.
True.
Okay.
It's colder now.
Kings were fully clothed.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Because every loss puts on, so they had a hoodie and a Scully.
Oh, they had
long johns.
Yes.
They had socks.
Gloves.
Yes, gloves.
Hats. Mittens.
Shoes. Galoshes.
Boots.
Fully clothed.
Yes.
But we're coming up out of that thing.
Taking the layers off. Today on the show, Doug, we're going to hear from the guy that leads the charge, the head coach of the Kings, Luke Walton.
Luke!
Coach joins us every week. Today, we've got him at 4:30.
Okay.
Coach coming your way at 4:30. We will have 5 on it. We got lots of NBA things, some NFL, more fallout from the Baseball Hall of Fame, the crossover. We're jam-packed.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man. Let's get her done.
And it's a This Day Thursday.
Is it?
Yeah. You want one off the top?
Please.
Let's see what we can do here first.
So you go This Day Thursday, and I got birthdays over here.
You want to give us a birthday?
Yes.
Which one stands out to you first and most?
Rakim.
Oh.
Come on, baby.
How old?
53.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nice.
J. Cole.
All right.
36 today. Doing good. I'm always looking for Yankees because usually
you got one of my family members on there.
Somehow, is there a Ross on here?
Oh yeah.
Where?
Come on.
Oh,
Big Rick.
Big Rick Ross.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Watched Terrence last
Maybach
night
music.
for Orlando. He's in the family. Big Rick today celebrating his birthday.
No relation.
As far as you know.
Wow, just sleeping on Kasumna's finest, huh? Jermaine Dye.
Well, you didn't. You told me last week don't read them all. So I was just.
Well, he said the ones that came up to you.
Oh,
And
okay.
you just went right past them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he does.
Yeah, I got caught up
Very,
in the,
very,
in the Ross family.
very selfish, obviously,
Yes.
Chris. That's how he rolls.
All right, let's do one for this day, Thursday, to get us started. 1855, the first locomotive runs from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean on the Panama Railway back in 1855.
So what was the first ride like on the Panama Railway?
A little bumpy, but I was there for the cafe cart, when that went by. It was good.
Well done.
All right.
Hey, get your ticket punched? You still
Yes.
got that ticket?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a collector's item on the board.
First things first.
First things first.
Papa.
Buddy Hield. He's knocked down 6 threes. Double team briefly against Buddy. Gives to Barnes. Ball's knocked out of his hands. Harrison gets it back. Down to 1 on the clock. 3 on the way for Hield. He's got the triple. 116-100. Buddy Hield with a season high 29 points. And that is his 7th three-pointer made in 11 attempts from outside that circle.
So nice to see for Buddy Hield. Lots of players played well. Seems like we say that all the time, Doug, when the Kings win. They got their 7th win. For the first time this year, they win in wire-to-wire fashion. Kind of a stress-free fourth quarter. I think there were some moments like, Kings, you could kind of put this away, but I never once went, uh-oh, they're in trouble. But there was a window where it could get trouble. Never happened, and they deserved to win. They were the better team yesterday.
I'm sure that Luke is going to be happy about this because we've seen the opposite end of this spectrum that I'm about to say. 15 turnovers for 8 points.
Yeah.
We've also seen 15 turnovers for 30 points.
Yeah.
The only part that I will get after him about is the offensive rebounds. 17.
Yeah.
I get, first of all, that Orlando is the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the league. Totally. But with that mindset, I would say make sure that you come back and you gang rebound, and it is just an absolute must. I give these guys credit though. I mean, they had multiple guys that were crashing the offensive boards. Kim Birch off of the bench gave you 10 offensive rebounds. But happy to see the Kings get themselves a W, especially when you're starting out a road trip. It's always good to get that first one.
Yeah, and I think you're right on the rebounds because especially in the first half, I'm like, man, if they got some of these boards, this game might already be over.
Right.
But I think where it also flipped, Doug, the Kings then started to get them. Marvin and Holmes, they were keeping possessions alive. I thought they actually did a good job as well on the offensive boards.
And I saw you tweet this, and you and I communicate sometimes throughout the game, and it was, I don't know how many quarters of non-30
Ended
plus.
up being 8.
It ended up being 8.
The last one was 30, but okay.
And these are small, I understand, because some people are going, come on, and I get that. But they're small benchmarks, even against a team that doesn't score a lot of points. You got to start someplace. And the ability to put this team in that kind of zone, meaning that you're saying to them, it's going to be an average night for you. We're going to let you be who you are. And as opposed to sometimes allowing bad teams to be better and good teams to be great and great teams to just absolutely beat the hell out of you, like we saw with the Clippers. So this was that's a good sign. You allowed them to be who they were, with the exception of a couple offensive rebounds here or there. Good outing.
You know what else? I mean, obviously we played the highlight there, Doug, of Buddy having a season high. I just loved his game. I thought early on he actually had a couple aggressive takes. He missed a couple. I'm like, okay, you're going for it. You're getting to the basket. He made a couple too. And then his threes, obviously he's one of the best snipers in the league, but I felt that they were all catch and shoot.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even have to put it on the floor once. He did maybe on some of them, but most of them were catch and shoot that were open, that were created by other people, and that looked really comfortable for him.
And the two culprits, if you want to call them culprits, are him and Marvin. And the reason I say this is Marvin, as a younger player, and I say young, he's still young, he was searching. You could see he's searching to get that offense. Buddy, as such a great shooter, he's searching to get that shot. And that's why I say culprits. Last night, there was some extra movement of the basketball with those two that ended up opening offense up for them that I just went, there you go right there. It's just a mindset and a being locked into the game, and sometimes understanding that tonight might be your night, might not be your night in that particular way. And when it is, well, here you are. And Marv, double-double. Fox almost a triple-double, and obviously, again, Rashawn Holmes just continues to deliver the goods. But there was a question, could Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley play together? I'm watching them get each other the rock, tap the ball to each other. They're little things, but that's where you start.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, watching the game, you're wondering, we've had this probably happen against the Kings more often where we say, man, how can the Kings win when Buddy Hield scores 9 or De'Aaron has 12? Well, on the other side, when Aaron Gordon does 0, like 1 of 9 3-point, he was a complete non-factor. I wasn't that impressed with Orlando. Now, they've played better than what they did last night, but one of their important pieces, Gordon, did nothing, and that hurts a team like that, much like if De'Aaron's off or Buddy's way off. These kind of teams need everybody.
You know, when you see like Marv get downhill and he might get offensive foul, that's what I see in Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
If you watch him, they allowed him to whatever, and I'll have to ask Luke this, is whatever the scouting report, because everybody's a little bit different on how they might approach a player, was make him settle, try to catch the first move, make him settle for jump shots as opposed to finishing. He almost had a spectacular finish when he was above the rim. But those are the things that I was impressed with the Kings. Allow a bad team to be bad. Don't give them easy buckets and different things. And I would say man for man, the Kings. And then there was a closing time. De'Aaron got aggressive in the second half. You went to Harrison Barnes, who's been a stalwart this year. Just everyone chipping in.
Yeah. This question came in on the text line, Doug. Hey, guys, Kings aren't the worst team in the league, but yet we have the worst point differential. How do you explain this?
Say that one more time.
That the Kings basically have the worst point differential in the league, but they're not the worst team. Well, unfortunately, when they've lost by a lot of points. Yeah. Last night was kind of their first somewhat comfortable win. They don't have enough of those.
Right. And this is kind of what I'm saying, Texter, is when the Kings are playing against a team like this earlier on in the year, they would allow them to score a lot of points. And when you lose, you're losing. When you lose by 38, your point differential is going to be screwed up for a second. That adds like 2 points to it, especially when you're only like 10 games into the season. So it can knock it off a little bit, but this has kind of been a thing for point differential for the Kings for a couple of years. Has kind of been a thing. You want it, obviously, on the opposite side, and when you do that, then now you're winning some ball games.
Yeah, it shows how much progress you have. Again, we'll talk more about the Kings, obviously, throughout the show, coming up at the bottom of the hour, and Luke Walton joining us at 4:30.
First things first.
Well, last night we said it could be a preview of the NBA Finals. You had Philly and the Lakers. Actually turned out to be a great game. Afterwards, here's Doc Rivers talking about the win and all their home court wins.
And honestly, I look at every game as a game of growth and the game of measuring where you're at right now. Not necessarily because you're playing the Lakers, more because we're playing an NBA game. And at this point where you're at, how far you're behind because of all the stuff that has happened. I think every single team, every coach I talk to says the same thing. We're kind of trying to figure out where we are at right now, not where we are at against someone else. And so that's what I'm doing more right now.
You know, what's interesting about this game, Philly was in control a lot of the game. Lakers had a furious rally late. Doug had the lead, and then Tobias Harris hit the ultimate game winner. So to me, I think it's no big deal at all for the Lakers. But is it a big deal for the Sixers to get that win?
I do. I think it is for a couple reasons. One, you got a new coach. So he's trying to establish culture. Same way that I said about Luke Walton with the very first win of the season. Now that it begins to establish that we're playing against a championship team. Guys, if we do it the right way, we can beat them. Although they made a run, we still got the victory. It's big also for Tobias Harris because he showed that I can make that shot. It's big for Joel Embiid because he showed that he can allow somebody else to make that shot. There are a lot of pieces for that ball club because they want to trend in that championship type of level, and they kind of have flirted with it for a few years, and now all of a sudden you get a championship coach in Doc, and I'm sure the message that he's trying to impart to these guys, it takes a little wax out of your ears when you get your W, and the words might get in there a little bit easier. So, yeah, I think it's big for them. For the Lakers, I would agree with you. It's not too much. Anthony Davis is not playing to his level. He's missing free throws, different stuff. But this is the first time he's been a champion and now have come back. There's a bullseye on your back.
Yeah.
Everyone's giving you your best shot. You're already tired. But then you look at the guy right across from you. He's in year 18, and he is playing like –
Come on.
Dude, he played 39 minutes last night.
Of course he did. And it was great.
And I didn't see that he was. I know Anthony Davis is not playing tonight, but they play a back-to-back with Detroit. I don't know if LeBron's not playing tonight. I asked you. He has played in all the games.
I don't think he's missed a game.
Good Lord.
And remember, even like when they said the season was going to start earlier, because there's some talk, hey, it may not start till January, give a little bit more time. There was some concern, like, well, maybe LeBron won't play as much, or may sit out the beginning. He's out
I
there
was
playing.
of that mindset. I was like load management, but
he's going.
Yeah, he's going for it. And hey, listen, credit to him, because that's kind of what I would say. This just. I hope that be careful. That's the last thing that we want to see is his greatness, especially at this time of his career. Just stay healthy.
Yeah.
You sit out when you play the Kings. It's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, we want you to play.
Well, and some of the argument before, to be honest, was, hey, that's okay. That was their only trip to Philly unless they play in the finals. That's not really fair to the Philly fans. Well, fans, like most of these places don't have fans. If any time, hey, you know what? I'm not even gonna make the trip to Memphis. I'm not even gonna go to San Antonio.
Right.
No, he's there. He's playing.
Yeah, but still now it goes to, well, everyone's watching on TV.
Yeah.
It's always something, man.
It is,
yeah.
but he plays.
He does.
He plays.
36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 39 minutes.
We'll say we'll see when the decline happens. I'm waiting on that one for him.
Is he your MVP right now?
Right now, yes.
I would agree with you. He's the number one team. Come on.
And I told you I would have picked him last year. I have no problem with it being Giannis. That's fine. But I would have picked LeBron.
Yeah, no doubt.
Amazing.
First things first. First things first.
Well, I don't think this was ultimately that surprising to find this out today, but it just became officially public. Deshaun Watson wants out, has told the organization he wants a trade, does not want to be a part of the Houston Texans. Apparently he has said this prior to, but now it gets leaked, Doug, and they hired a new coach. That didn't move the needle. This is an organization that probably has to do this now, because I don't know. I would never say get rid of a player like him. I wouldn't. But where they are salary cap-wise, I think it will take them, honestly, longer to get better around him than if you move him and get just a surplus of goods, whether that's picks, current players. It might be what they need, even though it sounds terrible. And for him, good for him, he's going to go somewhere with a no-trade clause that's going to work out well, I think.
I mean, I want to say, what is the point to keep him? Because I don't know that you're going to be able to put the proper pieces around him. Right. Not to mention, the organization seems like it has some cleaning up to do.
Yes.
And there's been a racial component that I've heard and a lot of different stuff with that. I don't know because I'm not in Houston, so I have no idea, but that is what I'm seeing on some of the broadcasts. So if that is the case, he obviously was, I guess, lied to, whatever, and he is not happy. So you're going to have a great player and a bad team. He's not going to be happy, as opposed to restarting new coach. And I understand that doesn't always work. Coach gets fired, different things, but you might get a quarterback in a trade. You're definitely going to get yourself some draft picks. And you had another coach in there, and he sold everything off for
nothing,
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So when you look in the mirror, that's who you got to blame.
And I think whether it was the Texans that released this information, Watson himself, Watson's camp, public perception, right or wrong, I think a bunch of people feel like the Texans are to blame here. But now that it's out that Deshaun wants out, it's almost like they got a little bit of a free pass in a sense. Like, hey, we got to make the most of it. We got a player that doesn't want to be here. Even if it's their own doing that did that, I think there's a little public perception like, yeah, we got to do this.
It's interesting that you say that, because as it broke live on First Take this morning, somebody texted Stephen A. and said to him, we just want to put it out there that this is not Deshaun's doing. So, yeah, they got some PR that told them this might be good for you to go about it in this way.
Right.
They did it. They released it, and most times it's the athlete. Not most times, but sometimes it is the athlete, and they get blamed. In this particular instance, the Houston Texans did what they thought was best for them. Now we'll just kind of have to see where it goes. Would you say top 5 quarterback in NFL? Or where do you got him? 8?
Yeah,
top
well,
8, top 10?
And I know maybe we could do this when we're talking about him a little bit later to further expand it out. But how many teams wouldn't take him?
That's a good. Let's do that.
Because I think that list is really small.
I do too. Because
very small.
Even if you have a good quarterback, but he might be a little older, because that's kind of what you think about with him and Aaron Rodgers, for instance. Because we talked about this the other day. What's the play? The play is Aaron is now, so is Deshaun, but Deshaun has longevity. So it's and in football you never know because you can get hurt too.
Yeah. So it's interesting where this will go. And again, I think the dominoes, we've been talking about this quarterback carousel. This is as interesting to me as an offseason that the football has had in a long time, because you have high-profile quarterbacks. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere, but if he does, certainly that becomes interesting. Watson wants out. Stafford, that's a breakup that's happened, and there's probably more dominoes to follow. I just think the offseason with quarterbacks is really going to be great drama.
It is, and I think that for the league, because we watched it, we didn't start, but I would say it was a spike with Kyrie Irving when he wanted to leave LeBron James when he was in Cleveland. And all of a sudden, we're in the middle of the summertime. Usually it's baseball, not a lot to talk about, and every day there was something to talk about. It's going to kind of be the same way with football. It's how are they going to go about it?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out for Watson and for the Texans.
First things first. First things first.
Well, an offshoot of that, Doug, one last story on first things first, more quarterback play. The Steelers came out today and said basically they do want to keep Big Ben, but they are talking. They can't keep him at the contract he's supposed to have this next year. They just can't. They said it doesn't make sense for them, probably not even, well, for him, no one's going to turn down more money, but Ben probably at this point too also wants the best chance to win, even in that organization. So if they can get to a spot where they mutually agree on maybe a contract arrangement, maybe Ben's days stay in Pittsburgh, because I still think that's probably their best choice up to the minute, unless something else comes up. But interesting to see where this will fall in place.
They would be on that Deshaun Watson list, but I don't think this is the big thing is, do you have the capital to be able to pull a deal off like that? And I think that's what's going to limit when we talk about this. For Big Ben, there was a sour taste in his mouth, and I understand it. They start 11-0, then they go on a skid, find themselves in the playoffs, and get beat immediately. For them, I think part of it is they don't think that they have a backup for him that is ready to take over. So will you come back? Can you come back? You probably give us the best chance to win.
Yeah, I feel like they don't think it's Mason Rudolph by signing Haskins, right, a week ago, and it's like giving him a second chance. He may not even be the answer either, but that's a high pick from before. Let's get him in our system, and let's see if he's the next Steelers quarterback.
Question, is it more important for Ben to come back to school Haskins, or would that, if Ben left and you're stuck with Haskins, how do you see that?
Yeah, see, I feel like Pittsburgh probably, I mean, I don't even ever feel like they've ever rebuild, right? Like that's a program that just keeps going.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody felt they were as good as 11-0, but we all felt they were a playoff team. I mean, I didn't look at them as, they're not embarrassment. So they're closer to being a really good team. I think you got to see if you can make it work with Ben and whatever else they're missing.
Yeah, if you don't go Ben, because who was their quarterback before Ben Roethlisberger? Do you remember?
Gosh,
they had
Tommy Maddox or something.
Yeah, But the key was they were one of those teams that were built on the defensive side that supported that, one of those just don't turn it over type of things, and we got some weapons on offense. Well, they may have to go back to that if Big Ben leaves, spend all the money on the defensive side of the football and try to survive until you find your quarterback and go forward with them.
Man, lots of things, lots of decisions that they have. That is first things first. I want to tell you to get your grill ready for the big game with Cinch's Propane Home Delivery by logging in to cinch.com. It is a This Day Thursday. We've got more of that coming up. We also have the head coach of the Kings, Luke Walton, coming your way at 4:30. When we come back, we'll talk more about that Kings win in Orlando, and is the defense really better? The stats suggest it. Doug and I will talk about that next here on KHTK. Back here on KHTK, Jason Ross, Doug Christie.
Yeah, man. Jamaican Thursday in full effect.
For sure. It's also a This Day Thursday. What do we got for you? 1959, Soviet Union wins 62-37 for their first international basketball loss by the U.S. Only scored 37 points. Come on now. Let's move the ball. Let's go.
Yeah, that ain't going to work.
DC, you were hurt for that game, right?
As a spy, I was playing for the other team.
Yeah.
Thank you for saving me there. Dante Culpepper.
Oh.
44 today. Happy birthday.
All right.
Former Sacramento Mountain Lion?
Yes, true. Confirmed.
Former Sacramento King, Tony Dell.
Oh.
47.
Yes. Put up a big number on the Kings as a member of the Suns. I remember that. I also want to remind you the Herd with Colin Cowherd begins Monday right here, noon to 3, right before Doug and I, each and every day starting on Monday. All right,
Why you gotta
yesterday.
be so negative, man?
What's that?
Why you got to be so negative?
What, about Delk?
Yeah.
That was a memorable game for, I would say, a random player getting 50.
I got you.
I mean, that's Tony Delk averaged about, I think, he had a nice career.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Then to get 50?
Listen, any pretty much player out there can give you a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. See him in the summertime, you go, why don't you do that in the game?
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, fitting in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, the Kings fit in yesterday, Doug. Really nice win. They got a victory in Orlando, so that's 2 straight. Asked as we were going to the break, is the defense better? And I don't know that 2 games dictates that, but the results have been wins. They've held teams lower than their normal. But part of it, the Knicks were the worst offense, and I think Orlando's 28th. So they weren't playing juggernauts, but I could then flip that and go, well, neither were the Pelicans, and they scored a boatload on the Kings.
Right.
Not everybody they've played has been a number 1 offense. So there is improvement, or is there? What are you seeing defensively?
Yeah, well, I said this. I thought that they would play a better game because they had multiple practices. And in those multiple practices, you can work on a lot of the things that you need to work on that the Kings are deficient in on rotations, and you can blow the whistle and let's do it again and let's get it. The key for the Kings is going to be, first of all, the consistency. Second of all, when the adjustments are made, can you make the adjustments on the fly? Luke can call a timeout, but he only has so many timeouts because normally that's how, right now, that's how the Kings are saved, if they are saved in the game, is, okay, boop. We see that a lot, but one of the greatest teams of all time was those 72-10 Bulls. And how many times did you see Phil Jackson just sit back and go, oh, it's a 10-0 run. Oh, it's a 12-0 run. And they don't even look over there because you know what? Figure it out.
Yeah.
We worked on this already in practice. Now's not the time for me to micromanage it. I mean, it happens. That's not what I'm saying. But to be a good team, you have to do that. Defensively, I think that you're getting the effort. I think the Kings were smarter in rotations, making people settle for shots. There was one that I think it went to Aaron Gordon, and the Kings rotated out of it, and he ended up getting a shot, and he shot an air ball. And I was like, great job. I mean, that's who you wanted to get the ball to, and it was later in the clock. He shot it. Not as many straight line drives. So yeah, there are little things that I see, but for me, it's gonna be the consistency. Okay, put that one in your pocket.
Right.
Now,
build on it.
Here's a team that absolutely, first of all, they're struggling in Toronto, and at the same time, they roughhoused you. And that's how they won that game, because the Kings started out good here versus Toronto.
They blitzed them, and then, Doug, they gave up a franchise record at least it was a franchise record for Toronto. So that team is capable without Kyle Lowry in the game too, by the way.
Exactly. So you have to know that, remember that, first of all, memory like an elephant, put it in there, lock it in, and then just really come out and get after them and demonstrate that the things that we are talking about you being deficient in, you're showing that improvement. That doesn't mean you're going to win every game. That's not what I'm saying. But you're not going to give up 40-point quarters. And will it happen from time to time? Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
But this is more doable. Even if, let's say, they scored one 30-point quarter last night, and I believe it was the last quarter, 27-30. Even if they had two 30-point quarters, but one of the other quarters was a 22, and maybe one was a 28.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still a number. Over 100, it's 110, 150, whatever. But you have the ability to score and put up a number. So where we would have the problem, Jason, is saying, yeah, the Kings gave up or they scored 120, but they gave up 132.
Right.
Okay, you scored 120 and held them to 107, 110, and you win the game. That's what you're looking for.
Text line's asking, hey, Doug and Jason, do you have any information on why Jabari Parker hasn't been playing? Just odd man out, you think? And there's been no official word. He's not injured, to our knowledge. No, there's no injury report.
So I would say, and I agree, I don't have like inside information to tell you, but what I would say is no training camp. You kind of got your rhythm of where you're going, or excuse me, not got it, but you're trying to figure it out. Then that player leaves due to COVID's gone for a long time, and you have no practice time. There are guys that have stepped up that are now trusted in certain situations. For him, it's just about staying ready, and an opportunity will present itself when the Kings, for instance, don't have practice time, and Luke is looking for an energy and a changer, and he goes in. I give you a perfect example. Glenn Robinson III. That was DeQuan Jeffrey supposedly be his job. He's had an ankle. He's been out, and right now Glenn Robinson III looks like he's a rotational player.
Yeah.
So those are the type of opportunities that will present themselves for Jabari, I think.
What do you think Whiteside's, it's first time, that's the only real wrinkle that was different last night. He hadn't played for a few games, came in. It's not, you're not going to see like these amazing numbers, but having him back, what impact was that yesterday?
Oddly enough,
besides the step back three.
Well,
come on,
listen.
You know he wanted to shoot. He's like,
I said he thought about it. Then I said he went ahead and did it.
Well, because I think this is what I thought on the radio. Was like he wanted to shoot it. You could tell. He's like, well, the long two is a terrible shot. So
let me just.
And so it's like he's actually right. I mean, if you're going to shoot the three.
Shoot the three. Yeah.
But yeah.
Oddly enough, he gave them something on the offensive end. Mm-hmm. But I still think that defensively, not so. Some nights, how many did he get a shot block last night?
I don't think he did. I don't know if there was an official one there. Okay. Let's look that up.
So if he didn't, my point is, he brings the changeability of shots for the perimeter players, meaning if you know that he's back there, you can be a little more aggressive. Did he? Nope. Okay. But that's okay because you change shots, you're swinging at shots, those type of things. I think that he gave the ability also to put a body on Vucevic, that it was bigger than him, which doesn't happen often. So now Vuce took him out and tried to shoot three-pointers, but guess what? That's what I want you to do, Vuce.
Yeah.
Even though you're shooting 38% from the three, which is great for anybody, but yes, I'm going to live with you doing that as opposed to you being in the post and torturing people. So I just think he gave him a ability to bring in a big guy that's an actual big guy, protect the rim a little bit, and offensively gave you some numbers. When he's able to do that, he won't do it every single night. Sometimes it's spoon-fed, but in those particular instances, he kind of went with the up and under, good footwork, shot a hook, made some buckets.
Yeah, the other thing I liked about yesterday's game too, Doug, was both De'Aaron and Halliburton didn't have the shooting game they would want. Those were the only two that really weren't efficient, but De'Aaron was putting so much pressure on the refs, one, because he was feeling like he wasn't getting calls, but by playing with that pace and that attack mode, it just put pressure on the Magic defense, and I think it opened up a lot of other things, even though he didn't have the monster scoring night, but he still had an impact, I thought, all over that game.
Yes, and even him in he almost had a triple-double.
Exactly.
Okay, 19, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. Him and Ennis getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the things. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Double T's, that's fine.
Right, because first of all, you're the leader, so if everybody doesn't stand up for you if they need to, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so but you're setting the tone that this is how we gonna do. You just can't say whatever you want to me and touch me however you want. That's not even gonna be a thing. But De'Aaron's ability, as you said, to keep pressure on the defense and pressure on the referee is really, that's what you want. Whether he shoots it good or not is not the do you want him to?
Yeah.
Of course,
and he will some nights.
Yeah. But I still need you to 17 to 25 shots every single night. It has to be that way. And the way that he gets it is change of direction in the paint, getting fouled, get them to the penalty early. They were 7 minutes in the third quarter in the penalty. I'm thinking, hallelujah, because you're making a little bit of run, and all of a sudden this is a run stopper. So, yeah, I liked what we got from De'Aaron. And Halliburton as well. He contributes to a game in more areas than scoring. He only had 7 points, and he shot 3 for 11, but he had 7 assists. Mm-hmm. And then the deflections and all the little things that he brings to the game. Shooting percentages be damned. I want him to shoot it high. That's not what I'm saying. Do all the other stuff.
Yeah, we don't have that same access that we normally do when we would be down on the floor and you get to talk to whoever, opposing announcers, opposing coaches every once in a while. Certainly you have connections with other people throughout the league. I really want to hear what other people are saying. I mean, the word is out. We all know. We see every game how good Halliburton is. Just what's the rest of the league saying? Where is he on their scouting report? What are they saying about the rookie? I'd really be anxious about that.
All that I hear and all that I read is, man, can you imagine if he was with and name the team that picked before us? From
11 of them
to 11.
I do that when they play a team like the Bulls. I'm like, man, Levine and Kobe White are nice. But what if Halliburton was their third guard or whatever? The Knicks. Yeah. I feel like that's missing from them. I like that team. If Halliburton was there.
Right.
Thank goodness he's not.
Yeah, I would say thank Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah.
Similar kind of how they play, but he's way more productive.
Right.
But that's kind of what they were thinking that they were getting is Halliburton-esque. Mm-hmm. And no. So it's the poise, it's the defense, it's the intangibles, it's the ability to, like I said, play and contribute to a game even when you don't score. Mm-hmm. If you know basketball and you see him in the fourth quarter handling the ball or inbounding the ball late and you know, you're like, oh, the coach really trusts him.
Yeah.
That he's got something. Because you just don't do that. Because now, will he make mistakes? Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. But for me to just hand you the ball and go, okay, I want you to inbound right now, that's kind of not a thing.
Yeah.
You got to be – I mean, we got a bunch of guys on the team that obviously – he's not putting it in that position. Let me just say it that way.
Right.
So, yeah, Halliburton, I think he's getting rave reviews.
You know better than anyone, Doug, but to me, the grind of the NBA and having those practice days and really less games and travel and all that for the last few days, they just looked fresh, too. Like, I thought they had a bounce to their step collectively. Everybody that played looked really pretty strong.
Yeah, but I'm not here for that one.
Yeah,
I need it.
You need every. I know.
Like I don't like. Yeah, everyone looks good. I always tell my son, everybody looks good in warm-ups.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about when you run up and down and there hasn't been a timeout or a whistle blown for 60 seconds and we're to the fourth quarter? Nobody wants to hear that. You got to figure it out. I'm not here for that one, Jason. I'm sorry.
You obviously didn't watch my game in warm-ups.
I'm sure you were nice with it.
So much flair.
Yeah. Okay.
Woo!
Yeah. All warm-up team.
Someone had to make it.
I feel you, but
might have been in the Hall of Fame.
Second time All-American. That's yes. Second time around. Huh?
Just in warm-ups. That's all. Okay. It may be in my mind as well. All right.
Not that I'm not happy for them.
Right. I know what you mean. But I guess my point on that would be, how do you break? You didn't have that feeling every night. Sometimes, like, man, I just feel good. Okay, but how do you do that when you don't have it?
Massage, stretch, Epsom salt bath, and seaweed.
How much is mine, though, too?
It is, because you got to say to yourself, I'm willing to go through what I'm going to have to go through to get there. And I will say this, Sacramento Kings fans, you are a big reason for that, because there's energy in that.
Yeah.
And they brought it in a way that made you say, oh, damn, hell with it. It's gonna hurt later on, but let's just get on down.
Yeah.
And they're not there right now.
Yeah. Cutouts were raucous last night, just for us.
Were they?
I thought so. They're getting into it.
Yeah, just the deafenings.
All right, we will visit with the coach of the Kings. Luke Walton's going to join us at 4:30. More NFL to get to. Deshaun Watson wants out. Where are the landing spots? When we come back, a few more reactions from the fallout of the Baseball Hall of Fame and nobody getting in. You'll hear from Curt Schilling and a few more when we come back here on KHTK.
Hi, folks. Lon Lundgren, Mr. Motorhome, the guy to see about an RV. Hey, the storm has gone through. It looks like it's going to go on its way. I know it's been tough the last couple of days, but hey, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be absolutely perfect weather to come down to Mr. Motorhome. Take a look at all those gently used RVs that I have on display. Diesels, gas, Class Cs, fifth wheels, trailers. I don't have a whole lot, not like before. I don't have 300 units on the lot. But what I do have on the lot is absolutely the cream of the crop, the best that you're going to find anywhere. Everything at Mr. Motorhome, of course, as you hear me every day talk about, is gently used. It's not brand new. You save a ton of money that way. Don't buy a new one. You drive it off the dealer's lot. The minute you hit the curb, bam, you lost a lot of money. Mr. Motorhome, the other guy's been kind enough to do it for you. And by the way, if you're selling an RV, give me a call at Mr. Motorhome. I'll be happy to come out, give you a free appraisal, check it out, make you an offer, and write you a check right on the spot, and I guarantee it'll be a very fair offer. Let me give you my phone number, 916-681-3333. That's 681-3333. Give me a call. I'd love to talk to you personally. But by all means, take the time to come down and see me at Mr. Motorhome. You know where I'm at. Highway 99, Elk Grove Boulevard, just 10 minutes from downtown Sacramento. And, of course, check out our website, MrMotorhome.com, where we have pictures and videos of all our inventory. It's really neat. It's just like being there. But stop by, but always when you do, mention you heard me on KHTK, and I have a beautiful Mr. Motorhome hat for you. And, yes, the guard puppies, all 6 of them, they're always right there to say hello to you when you come in.
Be all right.
Hey, Capital Casino now open again with their outdoor gaming venue at 411 North 16th Street in Sacramento. Jason Ross, Doug Christie, back here on KHTK again, 4:30. Luke Walton, the coach of the Kings, joins us. So we look for his weekly interview. Look forward to that. This day, Thursday, Doug, 1960. The NFL announces the Dallas Cowboys and Minnesota Vikings as new franchises.
Really?
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for the Cowboys. Vikings got to a couple Super Bowls. They don't have one yet, though.
True.
It's difficult. It's difficult to win. We're a week away or so, a little bit more than that from the Bucs, and the Chiefs will have a lot on that next week. But this week off was always kind of a weird one for football because you have all these games, and then it's like, you have to wait 2 weeks. But they would have normally had the Pro Bowl and all the fanfare next week. We know it's a little different now.
That's all right. We get one more.
Get one more game done safely and get ready for next season. Maybe next season will be all normal. I hope. Or
too.
Closer to normal.
Closer. I definitely think closer. Greg Popovich, happy birthday, 71 today. And Andre Iguodala.
Iggy. What's he, about 37? Okay.
God, he's younger than I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was closer to 40? He's been around a long time, though.
He has. That's my point. I mean, there's Philly Iggy.
Yeah. You guys had to cross over, right, at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him asking me during the game. I believe it was an entry pass. And it was either him or somebody, but he's the one who asked me. You know, remember how they'd throw it and I'd steal it?
Yeah.
And he's like, how you do that? I was like, we're in the game, so I can't remember what I said to him, but you always take a peek back. So when you're in front of him, you take a peek real quick. Now I know exactly how far I got to jump.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't move, my hand will be there before the ball does.
Look at that.
Huh?
A little insight. Hopefully, Iggy. Well, maybe there was a game in his career that he made a key steal that helped him win a game.
Well,
he made
sure.
many steals.
Yeah, he made these. Yeah. He turned into be Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Well, speaking of that, we had a Baseball Hall of Fame that came up empty this week. More and more people are talking about that, and we discussed it as well. For me, Doug, part of the problem I have on this is it's a judgment, and I don't know what criteria some have, and I feel like the voters that have kept out Bonds and Clemens specifically, it's because they feel like they had cheated the game, which I get the principle, but baseball hasn't dealt that same way. Clemens' stats are all up there. Bonds is the home run king. Those are all acknowledged. On the Curt Schilling side of things, people just don't like him. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a judgment as well. I mean, is he a Hall of Famer or not?
Guess what? His opponents didn't like him either.
Right.
But that's how he did his deal. I don't think that comes into play when you talk about are we just like the Hall of Fame of people who did their career like Larry Fitzgerald, who's been just exemplary.
Everybody loves him.
every. No, because I mean you can go Kobe, you can go Charles, you can go Hakeem used to throw them things on you, man. I mean, we can go on and on of players who they attacked you, and that was part of Mike. Like, think about Mike's induction speech.
Right. Pretty savage.
Because that's who he was. So you're not always going to like everybody. That does not take away from the fact that Curt Schilling is a Hall of Famer.
Right. Well, here's a Schilling being asked about maybe what's keeping him out.
Are you, in your opinion, in the Hall of Fame if you have never publicly made a single political statement, left or right wing or independent or anything, other than like, "Hey, I'm Curt Schilling, I play baseball."
Absolutely, that's all unequivocally guaranteed. Yes.
So he thinks it's because he may have tweeted himself out of the Hall of Fame.
I didn't know this, but I saw it was again Stephen A. Smith. He said, "Listen, I don't like Curt Schilling. Mm-hmm. We've gone back and forth. He said things that I don't like the man.
Yeah, doesn't support it.
But he, in no shape, form, or fashion, does that take away from the fact of what he did on the field and the fact that I think that he's a Hall of Famer. It's a damn shame that people are looking at it in that way. I can respect that point of view because we don't have to get along. We don't have to see eye to eye. For me to
That's not what I'm asking.
Exactly.
Are you a Hall of Famer or not?
Or not.
Yeah, I don't like you, but I'm put you in.
Right. I mean,
I don't agree with one thing you've said.
Right.
Or I agree with everything that person said. That it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love you. You're great. Everything, great conversation, but you weren't that good.
Right.
And you don't make it. Well, but baseball, that thing is weird that way. I don't know. That's why when we had Jay in here, the way that he was breaking it down, I was like, okay, I'm feeling you because I understand you guys are a little different in that way.
Here's the one thing to think about Schilling. When you talk to Barry Bonds, we know wasn't the best teammate, but when you hear teammates talk about him, like, oh yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame, like no question. I can't think of one of Schilling's teammates that has been like backing him up.
That might be also, Chris, because they don't like him.
Yeah,
right. But that does not make him a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I know that, but like you also need a little bit of help to get into the Hall of Fame.
And that's maybe where the problem is.
Like no one is sad that Curt Schilling isn't in the Hall of Fame. You can say like, well, he deserves to be there. Yeah, he does deserve to be there, but no one's upset that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I guess
I would agree.
There are people that are upset that Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's probably because I don't know. I never knew Barry, but Chris is right. More people didn't really like Barry either. But I guess to me, I have an issue with the process. Yeah, I'm not here defending Curt Schilling as a person by any means. I disagree with him a lot of what he's done.
One thing I think people don't want him into the Hall of Fame is they don't want to hear his speech.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about him talking about politics, just him being him.
Right.
Him being him is a straight a-hole.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want to hear from him.
Yeah.
You got a point, Chris.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Well, here's Schilling asking for a little bit more from the Hall of Fame.
I'm stepping away. I've asked the Hall to remove me from the ballot, and if they don't, and I'm sure they will, because if they don't, I won't participate, no matter what the outcome is next year.
Again, not very likable sentiments, but whether or not he should be a Hall of Famer, I think he should. It doesn't matter whether you like the guys or not. Here's one more from a baseball longtime announcer and historian, Bob Costas.
it's possible that if someone's going to vote for Schilling, Bonds, or Clemens, someone who's been a holdout, perhaps their initial reasons were just let them twist in the wind. My semi-protest will be, says this voter, this imaginary voter, my semi-protest will be that I make them wait until the last minute. I'll vote for them in year 10. Well, it turns out that year 10 sets up that it could very well be those three people on the stage, Clemens, Bonds, Schilling, if enough voters come around to say, okay, the coast is clear. In this situation, I can see it. It doesn't rain on anybody else's parade. I can see it next year.
How about that?
Isn't that something?
That is a different view.
Maybe the Hall of Fame actually has that happen. Like, we won't really officially back this. You guys just show up on the stage. And I mean, but that my whole point on that, too, is the voters like, I'll wait till year 10. Then I'm putting him in.
See, I don't.
You're either in or you're not.
Well, that is just. And I have some of this in me.
Yeah.
Petty. I'm petty. I can be petty. But that is so petty.
Yeah.
And.
That's not just petty. That's Petty Anthony.
Look at you. He is something special, isn't he? You are, Chris. You're special in so many different ways.
That would be funny for baseball, though, to have those three
That's
together.
my point. When I'm listening, it hit me as before he finished. I went, oh, good point. That would be like, whoa. I just think that we have people voting for them that maybe don't. They're historians of the game, but we need like other Hall of Famers, other guys that can speak to what we're talking about. Like, I don't like him either, but he was damn good.
Right. Well, even like what Chris said the other day, I guess some of the guys that left their ballot blank this year kind of didn't want maybe some of these guys in on the same year of Jeter. Like Jeter's never happened yet because it was postponed last. Like again, agenda. What's the agenda? Are they in or are they out?
Come on, man.
Now that I think about it, would this be the first time there would be booze at the Hall of Fame ceremony?
Schilling would get booed.
Yes.
The other guys.
I think Bonds would get booed.
Why? Because he's
I don't
a
think
shill?
Bonds. I don't think Bonds would. Clemens. Well, I don't know.
Because you're getting three different fan bases.
Yeah. Man.
Now I kind of want to see it.
Maybe they do that one on. Maybe they do that one on Zoom.
Chris, Chris is here for all this fun.
Yes.
He's like, you know what? Matter of fact, scratch that.
Let's happen.
Let's make it happen. I just need to see what happens.
All right, we've got more to get to. We'll get to the NFL. Deshaun Watson wants out. What's the best landing spot for him? We'll discuss that next. Also, head coach of the Kings, Luke Walton, joins us at 4:30 as we continue here on KHTK. Rolling right along on this Thursday. Hopefully everybody's safe out there. We got some nice winter weather, some rain going on today. As we continue here on a This Day Thursday. Let's see, 1969 Pro Football Draft on this date. First pick, O.J. Simpson. By the
Juice.
Buffalo Bills. Yes, the Juice.
Okay.
He went to that school in Southern California.
You don't want to go to your school either.
Maybe he did.
Probably for the best now.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
We're all right with that one. Tony Vaselli, on the other hand, who we had on earlier this week.
You didn't even recruit him.
Gosh, what a miss. And you know what? Not just UCLA. Obviously, that happens. Like, that's amazing to me that happens. I mean, you made the NBA. You went to Pepper. Like, every school should have been going after you.
I didn't have the grades either. I was a ding dong. Your boy was wilding out.
Grades are keeping everybody out?
I wouldn't say you're a ding dong. Probably more like a zinger.
A Twinkie. A snowball.
Ding dong.
Crocodile?
Okay.
Don't sleep on the crocodile.
Those are good.
Susie Q?
Oh, nice.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. No.
Jay just came in and left.
Walked him off. Hit him with the whipped cream and chocolate cake, baby. Woo!
Oh, wow.
He's going over to the Hostess outlet right now.
Yes. Capital Casino is now open again with our outdoor gaming venue at 411 North 16th Street in Sacramento. All right, so let's go back to the NFL, the news that we had in First Things First. It happened officially today, Doug, where Deshaun Watson, it's going to happen. There's no way he's the quarterback of the Texans to start the year, is there? That just can't work.
I don't see it because he sounds so staunch and steadfast from what he wants. And I think that when you get J.J. Watt apologizing to him and just players who have been iconic, then the whole trading of his wide receiver.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
The whole trading and draft picks and all the different stuff that went along. Now people criticize, he signed a $150 million contract. Well, you put that in front of me, I'm going to get your chippers. That, number one. I just think there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah.
That's inside that organization. Obviously, the owner, rest in peace, who made some comments before passing away, and now still a family-owned and operated. I just don't see it. I don't see a way. Could they make it happen? Yeah. I think the offer is going to be so sweet.
Yep. It's going to be good for them.
It is.
Yeah, where you go, how are you getting rid of a 25-year-old quarterback that's got 10-plus years, maybe 15, left in this league? Oh, well, you got that? Okay. I mean, everything points to not doing it if you're Houston, but I think they're at the point of no return.
They almost they need to hit that refresher.
Yep, and it's not really on him. It's not his fault.
No.
It's their own, but you've got a new coach now and some new people running things, and it's like, let's go. Let's rip the Band-Aid. This is going to hurt. We'll see. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
and
it's going to hurt us.
And hopefully, if we get really good, we send him to the NFC, we'll see him in the Super Bowl. If we send him to the AFC, we're going to see him yearly. The point is, you're going to see him.
Yeah.
Or you're sucking and you don't see him.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's do this exercise. Let's go through the teams, and I think the way we should do this, not necessarily who he's better than,
okay,
but how about what makes the most sense? Because the reason I'm going to do this, the first team I'm looking at in the AFC East is Buffalo. I do think he's an upgrade over Josh Allen. Very small, but that doesn't make sense to tear apart the team.
I wouldn't do that.
Right. So
because also you got to give up so much to get him.
Yeah.
Then you got him.
It doesn't make sense.
So you got Houston, Texas, Northeast.
Yeah.
That's not your work.
So it's not an Allen versus him. It's more of they're already far along. They like their quarterback. He may end up being better than him if he's not already. So Miami, obviously.
Yes.
Makes 100% sense.
I don't know if they know what Tua is, and that's in and of itself, since we have to ask that question, I would say yes. Do they have the draft capital to do it? I'm not.
Yeah, they've got some picks, certainly, and some young players. They've got some caps. I think that's a team that could do it. Basically, we do the rest of the division. We remove Buffalo and say no, but we go Miami, New England, and the Jets. They all have to be in play. They have to be.
Right.
Jets obviously have a high pick, probably some other things. What I don't know is, do you think Houston wants a quarterback back?
I would, because two things. One, I think I'm going to draft one, but I'm going to set him behind whoever I get in return. So I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say they deal with San Francisco, okay? And you get Jimmy G. But the guy that I draft let's just say he's 3 years away? 2 years away?
But then in that example, wouldn't you be better off getting Bosa, Kittle, some other prize where I'm 2 or 3 years away from my quarterback, but I'm probably getting picks. I'm getting the quarterback, a future quarterback somewhere else, but I'm getting the prize I'm getting as a defensive end, a stud receiver, a tight end, 2 safeties, whatever, as opposed to probably just the quarterback in Garoppolo and maybe some other filler.
See, the reason I'm not doing that, Jason, is I'm going to juice you up with the draft picks. I'm going to keep what I got because I want to be good. If I'm Houston, I'm going to get a plethora of draft picks. Say I get a guy like Jimmy G.
So you're starting him. That's your starter.
Right. Then I draft a quarterback, and based upon where he's at in his progression, then I'm going to move Jimmy G again and get some more draft picks.
Okay.
So that would be part of my mindset is, but I need a stopgap. That's what they call it, stopgap. That's what I need right now.
So if we do the AFC East, we agree that no on Buffalo, but yes on Miami, New England, and New York. They all have to be interested. Have to be.
Yeah. Even I like Sam Darnold, but he ain't that.
Big time upgrade.
Right.
Big time upgrade. Yep. AFC North.
You're just saying that because he's a Trojan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
AFC North. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh, yes.
You would do it?
Yep.
You look at them?
Baltimore.
I don't think I do if I'm Baltimore. I think I like Deshaun a little bit better. Lamar's great. But you're also, what do you I think they're closer. Finding the other things is what's going to push Baltimore over, not necessarily
I would agree.
Watson.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you would with Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Just for future?
Most definitely.
Okay.
And
Cleveland?
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
I would. See, where I run into the problem when we do something like this is, where am I at and where am I going to be? And you have to have the foresight to see it's done and now it's an actual reality. When I walk in, this is real, and that just walked out the door. Where am I? Did I lose Garrett? I'm not. For me, that's not doing it. I think that the 49ers have so much. We got into this with Jay. They got so much that you could afford to give up one of those linchpins, I think.
Like for to that example, Doug, I don't do it if I'm Cincinnati. Not because they're not that close yet, and you've got a guy in Burrow, unless there's word that injury is a lot worse than we know.
And you know that.
Yeah. Because he's better than Burrow, but I don't think they're ready to be great next year, and you can get some other things.
Right, and you're going to have to give up a boatload.
Yeah. Okay, now we go to the AFC South, his own division. Obviously, we'll leave the Texans out. Jacksonville.
No, Texans need him. Oh, okay.
Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Tennessee.
Jacksonville.
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
And I'm actually going to
allow you. The number one pick.
Yep, it's yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more, but.
I got my guy.
Yeah.
Indianapolis?
He's plug and play right there, that team. I don't know what you have to give up to give him, but look out for that team.
I like that one. And
Tennessee, he's better than Tannehill, but I feel like they're also pretty close. That what are you giving up to get him? How much better are you getting with him compared to what you're giving up to get him? So, again, he's better than Tannehill in my mind, but they might still be too close right now.
Right, and you might miss a now window for a 3-year window,
and may not have enough that Texans are even interested in.
Right, that's absolutely. And you got to also think that he needs some people to throw to.
Yeah, Kansas City, Las Vegas, LA Chargers, Denver Broncos. Well, Chiefs a no.
No,
that's a hard no. Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
Yes,
all three.
The board. Yep.
Even with Herbert, again, he's better than Herbert, but do they feel like they've got that guy that could be him or better?
Okay, let me take that back. With Herbert, what do I got to give up, and who am I bringing in? Who's the head coach there? Who they have?
Gosh, I just blanked on his name. But I just...
Yeah, it's not Eric Bieniemy, huh?
No, it's not.
You got to... is he a better player? Hell yes.
Yeah.
But I think that is it a king's ransom to get him? You got to be careful with that one, especially when you don't got what the 49ers got, as they got like embarrassing riches.
Did you guys just skip over Kansas City?
Yeah.
Trade him.
Trade.
Get rid of Mahomes. Bye. Deshaun Watson.
Jay obviously got into something earlier, so.
Those weren't regular gummy bears, huh? Okay.
I didn't know if he had said that in that room, and then Chris said, "Go say that on the air."
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
he was smart to get out of the room and saying that.
Get him out of there.
Not a chance.
No.
Is Pat Mahomes untradeable?
No, but
Okay.
I pretty close.
Yeah, he's.
I mean, no one is, but it's about as close as it gets.
So why is Deshaun Watson tradable?
From Houston?
No, I mean the fact he wants out, but why is he tradable?
I think that's a toxic situation. It adds a layer to everything. I don't think he's tradable, actually.
So then, wouldn't the answer to pretty much all these teams be yes?
I think we are, except for what are you? He's making you better, but what are you losing to get him? I think some teams have to take that risk, and others are too close, where the gap between the quarterback play isn't as large as what you're giving up.
Where's Deshaun Watson on your quarterback list?
I think he's probably top 5.
Yeah, I think.
So you got Mahomes 1.
Yep.
Probably.
Yes.
Depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Who's number 2? Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I'd put
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers
I'm still
right
comfortable there.
Would you trade if you're the Packers for Deshaun Watson right now?
I would really think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
No, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your 3?
But let me say this. Is it mano y mano? Because do I got to give up more to get it?
Well, you got to give up more because he's younger.
Okay.
Right? But not much more.
Okay, that's my thought.
Yeah.
But I would do it.
Off the top of my head, I think my 3 is Russell Wilson.
Okay. Would you trade him? Or is it the same guy?
Yeah, no problem. You want to win, right?
Well, I guess the way I would ask it is,
Russell actually has a Super Bowl.
Oh, does he?
Should have 2.
Should have 2.
Honestly, if let's
like Mahomes is about to have?
No, that'd be Brady's 7th.
Yeah.
If we just, for everybody here, I honestly don't know the answer. If this trade is proposed as evenly as we possibly can say,
yep.
Texans and the Seahawks are on the phone, and they said, we want to do Russell Wilson for Deshaun Watson. Who has to give up anything else, or is that the trade?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle has to give up more because of age?
He's young.
Because of the age.
So then I'm no if I'm Seattle.
Right.
That's why it's no.
But I'm asking you this because I think as much as you look at the team, we have to look at the stardom of who he is. And you're almost kind of like like Doug is saying he's giving up Aaron Rodgers. So really the only team that you're probably not going to trade him for is Kansas City, maybe Seattle, maybe, you said Baltimore because Lamar Jackson. So really there's only like 4 teams. It's almost easier to go that route.
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess I put the Titans there. Now, again, he's better than Tannehill in my opinion, but what is the difference you're getting? Like, how much better is he than Tannehill compared to, but what if it costs you Derrick Henry?
Well, it's not because they're not crazy enough to ask for that.
For Deshaun Watson?
You're going to ask for that, but at the same time, as the general manager of the Titans, you're going to laugh. Like, come on, stop playing. We're talking about the best running back, so let's move on. Who's the next person?
Why do you want a 25-year-old franchise quarterback? You better give me the best.
Because I want to pair him with the best running back. Let me give you some other pieces.
Right.
See, that's what I said. I'm gonna go. Here's some draft picks.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Look right here.
I'm also going to say you're in my division, so no thanks.
We'll give you the Oilers. We'll give you the Oilers name.
And the rights to everything.
And the old Astrodome.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one.
But I think it's kind of, and I don't mean to stop what you guys are doing, but I think it kind of comes down to that point of we're talking about a top 5 guy in the league in most people's eyes because of his age and what he's done. And a lot of people kind of forget that he was in front of Pat Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't finish it, but they really should have won that game. On top of that, if he does do that, how are we looking at Deshaun Watson compared to Pat Mahomes? And that's why I'm asking the question, because as much as Chris plays around as he's all-world, Deshaun Watson is Pat Mahomes, really, in reality.
If you put him on that team.
Absolutely. So if that's the case, then in reality, he should be traded for everybody minus Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And maybe Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson.
Okay. That's a great argument.
You should be able to give up anything unless you're talking about top 10 guys. Now, if you're talking about McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, like those type of guys, that's a 1-for-1. Beyond that, every other NFL team,
Gotta
organization
throw something on it.
needs Deshaun Watson minus 2 or 3 guys.
That's why.
What about that other quarterback in that draft?
The guy you can always trust when you have a chance?
Mitchell Trubisky. You got him, you got a chance.
Okay. Break time.
On that
Hey,
note.
that will never age well.
We'll be back. We've got more straight ahead here on KHTK. Hey, get your grill ready for the big game with Cinch's Propane Home Delivery by logging into cinch.com. Really good conversation there about...
it's a cinch.
It's a cinch about Deshaun Watson, the value for him. We were hitting a lot of teams. Let's hit the teams that, look, I guess I always say Northern California for the Raiders. Obviously, they're Vegas, but Raiders and Niners.
Done.
Trade the whole organization minus the new arena for Las Vegas.
To get him?
I want to pair him with Waller, but...
Maybe the Las Vegas Aces.
Ooh. Off limits. Went too far. There's a line.
No, the Aces just got a 2-time MVP from the Sparks. Just signed today.
Yeah?
Yeah, Aces is about to be...
Candace went to Chicago.
She went to Chicago.
Wow.
After 15 years there.
Yeah.
I know, right?
How about the Raiders, though? Or the 49ers? We were kind of talking about the Niners in here in the break.
I think the Niners, it's a no-brainer. You on top of it's Vegas and that star power.
And the Raiders, yeah.
This is the other thing, and let me say, 49ers, no doubt. And this is why I want to say this. I think that the 49ers and the Rams and teams like that are a perfect fit because offensively, they're going to utilize his skill set, Jason, on a higher level than when we think about Indianapolis, Tennessee, some of these other places. The team is good. Don't get me wrong, but if you don't have the offensive mindset around it, you're not utilizing him properly. So I think that's a thing too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Kyle Shanahan as a play caller and him would fit really nicely. I'd be actually excited to see what that would look like.
What wouldn't you give up? And I'm talking strictly 49ers. The reason is because for me, that's like it's like it's fitting, baby.
I give it all. There's nothing.
There's nothing?
I mean, you can't come in and say, we want Bosa, we want Kittle. You can't ask for like 10 things. But there's not one player on their own on the 49ers, in my opinion, that I would not give up.
Okay, I got you.
So, like, if they're calling for Kittle and Bosa, I'm like, okay, can we start with one of them? Not both? Or there's something, I wouldn't want to do both, but not one would break the deal for me.
Right, I got you.
His value, the longevity that he should have, as much as I think Kittle's great and important for that team, same with Bosa, there's nothing to me that's untouchable.
But not both of them.
That doesn't feel like you're getting, unless you're getting something else.
You're right, unless you're getting something, and they don't really have anything to give. And
I don't know if they would.
The Oiler name, like Chris said.
But honestly, from them, if I'm trying to do it as realistic, we're looking at this from the Niners' perspective. What do the Texans want? They've got to want, because they have some cap problems, they've got to want picks.
Right.
So the Niners don't have as many high picks as maybe the Jets and some of these other teams that are being talked about. And Bosa would probably be intriguing as far as, but like, would Kittle be, he's going to make anybody better, but let's say they've got one of these college quarterbacks coming in.
Uh-huh.
Fields from Ohio State, they get him.
Yeah.
I mean, Kittle will help him, but are you wasting, like, we're still kind of in the prime of Kittle's years, and then you got a couple more of those, and then he's out. And I just don't know if that's the right fit for them even.
And you have to tell me this because I don't know this about the NFL. I told you when the James Harden trade was proposed, I said if it was me to get this done, I'm going to add a couple more teams in and I'm going to move some things around. And he's making a pit stop here, but he's not staying here. He's moving on. Is that ability, for instance, for Houston to make a trade? Let's just put Kittle in there. Uh-huh. But then Kittle, it doesn't stop there. Boom, he's off to a team that's probably a competitor that didn't want to give up as much to get Deshaun Watson, but is willing to give up a little bit more to get that tight end. And now maybe they have some more draft picks. Because I think that would, if I'm the Texans, I'm looking for draft capital so that I don't have to spend money.
Yeah, we're starting over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is fresh slate. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't think it happens as much in the NFL. Doesn't mean it can't. I think that's a...
Oh, so it's a thing.
More so in the NBA.
Okay.
Seemingly with multiple 3-4 team trades. Not all the time, but I mean, I think anything is easier when it's two teams working, because all of a sudden you had a third person. I'm not really interested in that player.
But see, when it's something as magnanimous as this, you might not have everything that I need, but I might have something that you need. So it's kind of the barter system here.
Yeah.
You move that on and allow me to get that back. Now you got the thing that you needed, and that team got the thing that they needed, but I'm getting all that I want because I'm giving up the big piece here. I need to get everything that I want. That's kind of how I would try to structure it and go about it.
Yeah, my assumption is that every team in the league is called the Texans. I think you have to out of due diligence. You're the Chiefs. We just kind of joked about them. Maybe they're really not interested. Hey, but what would it take? Oh, okay. No, you want Mahomes? No, we're not doing that. But maybe it was something they didn't even think of and like, oh, well,
right.
Whatever. But I think every team should call them. What offers are they getting? And then even where I'm interested, Doug, is just in the NFL GM pecking order. I think highly of him over Stafford, but maybe there's a portion of teams like, you know what, though? It might make more sense for us now to get Matthew Stafford. It'll cost us less.
Yes.
We will get a draft pick. Like, we'll get a guy that's 3 years behind Stafford.
Right.
Because if you're getting Watson, that's your guy probably for
10 years at least.
That's why you're doing it, right? Where Stafford, a lot of people are talking about the Colts and Stafford. So we already said Watson there would be awesome, but it might cost less to get Stafford, and we might still be pretty good. We'll keep a lot of our assets.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So I wonder just that pecking order of this offseason.
Yeah. When you talk about getting rid of or trading away pieces that are going to compromise who you are to get something that you want, you got to kind of think ahead to, and this happens in football, maybe not in every position, but I use a running back position the most because it's like, okay, that guy's getting a little, not older, but he's like 4 years in the league. It's time to pay him. I don't really want to pay you because I can get somebody that
Find another one.
Right. So if you got the draft capital, now you're looking in the draft, who's available. Okay, I can get that kid. He can fit in. Now there's a defense. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be a bare cabinet because we got somebody. Or maybe this is where you add the third team in and you get a guy who's trending towards all-pro, but he hasn't been there yet, and you're able to – there's got to be a way to make it happen. And I'm interested to see how they do something like this, or just give him away like you did DeAndre.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I know on the Raiders front –
he's worth about 2 second rounds and stick of gum. Yeah.
He's yours.
Yeah, he's yours.
On the Raiders front, Jason Witten played 1 year for the Raiders. He announced he called it quits after his long career. Only Tony Gonzalez has played more games and had more catches, I should say, and yards as a tight end. So he's had a great career. He's done. I guess Mike Mayock, their GM, has basically said he needs more out of the rookie class that he just drafted.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess we'll pose the last part of this question about the Raiders in Carr. Is like, what's his future there? I mean, could Watson would make them better, but is it going to compromise kind of what you said earlier? Like the loss, does that make him better enough, soon enough? I don't know what they're thinking with him.
Okay, so this is my question to you, and I know Chris just said 1 minute in the ear, is how much does Gruden value that position?
Right.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
And I think, I've always thought that he values it in a big way. And if that's the case, then he's not your guy, and Deshaun Watson is your guy.
Yeah.
I've thought that, and I think that like Carr's growing and they're getting better together, and
also Gruden knows he's got, like, if he made that move and it stripped the rest of the team, I got 7 more years on this contract.
So here we go.
Yeah. And
now let's link it together, and Deshaun, we're pretty much together here.
Every move from this point on will be to protect you with a line or get you weapons.
And get you weapons and fix a defense. No, we don't, Chris. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Luke Walton, coach of the Kings, he will join us. That's straight ahead here on KHTK.
The Magic turn it back to the Kings. Kings advance it to the front court. Shot clock is off. We've got 6 seconds to go in this one. So what a nice way for the Sacramento Kings to start the road trip that has been condensed to 4 games as they get their first wire-to-wire win this year. 121-107 is the final.
How nice was that last night? The G-Man on the call. The Kings with a win. That's 2 straight. They go for 3 in a row tomorrow when they take on Toronto. Jason Ross, Doug Christie, back here on KH2K. And each week, we're lucky enough to talk to the head coach of the Kings, and that is Luke Walton joining us right now. Coach, how are you? Coach, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, there you are. Everything good?
Everything is good here in my first trip to Tampa, Florida. It's a little strange to be playing an NBA game here, but it seems like a nice city.
Yeah, that's an odd scenario that you guys have there, and you spent a lot of time, obviously, in Orlando a few months back, but now you're back there with a productive win last night. What did you like most about your team's performance?
Just the simplicity we played the game with, the consistency of what we were trying to accomplish, and then just going out and doing it. And you hear me talk a lot about it, about building these habits and behaviors and playing consistent basketball. And I thought from the group, we really did a nice job of that last night.
Coach, what does, in your opinion, Whiteside bring to the table when he's in and when he's not in for the team?
Well, he brings us some much needed size, right? He's, he is a big time body out there. He takes pride in protecting the paint. He takes pride in people not scoring, when he's on the court. And we're just a better team when we have him. And it was really nice to get him back out there.
Coach, we had thought if you could beat the Knicks going into having a few extra days, that could be really beneficial. What did you get accomplished? What was the value of having some practice days?
Well, it was great. I mean, first, it was just to get a little time off. I mean, we were supposed to go straight into a back-to-back from there. And so to have the time to be able to give the guys a full day off and not have to sacrifice practice because of it, with getting practice in the next day where we really locked in on cleaning some stuff up, repping out some stuff that's been troubling us, and then still having another day once we got into Orlando to have a practice where we focused on what Orlando does and what we want to take away, and doing a defensive stops games against their main sets, and just having that type of freedom for our group is important. And obviously it showed in the game, playing a pretty clean, crisp game for the most part. The one thing we talked about that we did struggle with was their very good offensive rebounding team. And although we hurt them on the offensive glass too, we got to do a better job of boxing out and rebounding and finishing off possessions. Is
that a communication piece, Coach, from the standpoint, like if it's a big guy, you're saying, listen, face guard him, lock him up, don't let him get it. Somebody else come back in here. The ball's going to hit the ground. When it hits the ground, let's just make sure that we get it. Understanding the gang rebound aspect of it?
Yeah, well, part of it's communication. Part of it is, a couple of times we had guys like Corey Joseph and other guards doing that, and then we didn't do a good job of getting back in the paint with the other players to rebound the ball. Another part of it, they played Birch and Booch together. They got Aaron Gordon, who's probably the same size as our starting center, and Rashawn, and they got some big boys out there. So part of it is that's just one of the strengths of their team, and then part of it is we got to understand it. It's not, rebounding isn't just about going to get the ball. It's about putting bodies on bodies and then attacking the ball as it comes off the rim, as opposed to waiting for it to get to you. So there's some fundamentals there we got to clean up and work on. But we know that we talked about it a lot in our film session today. And moving forward, it's just got to be something we're better at.
Head coach of the Kings, Luke Walton, joining us here. Coach, what do you think led to your team's success on Aaron Gordon? He really was a non-factor. What did you do well with him?
Well, we had different guys guarding him. I thought, Marvin did a nice job. Harrison did a nice job individually. And then again, it was, team defense behind it. And that's what we talk about. Priority one, which will really get tested tomorrow night, is being able to guard individually one-on-one. And then, when you do get beat down, you got to be able, or you got to be able to rely and trust that your defense behind you is there to help. And I thought our guys did a good job of that. And then part of it, he just had an off shooting night. I mean, he did have some clean looks that didn't go, but we did make. We didn't give him a lot of easy ones to get in a rhythm. We didn't send him to the foul line to get in a rhythm. So we did some nice things on him, and part of it was him, having an off night as well.
Coach, you were spot on. Beat down. If you get beat down, you better get up and come with it. I was feeling you there, but I like how you that was solid work there. Head coach Luke Walton of the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox, not a great shooting night. I said this on the air. I was like, I personally think De'Aaron needs to shoot between 17 and probably 20. I said 25, but maybe 21 times, regardless of if it's not going in, because he contributes in so many different ways. He almost ends up with a triple-double. Just wasn't a good shooting night. How do you go about trying to get him to keep that pressure on the defense?
Yeah, I agree. I loved his game last night, and look, there's going to be nights your shots aren't going, but he was in attack mode all night. Yeah. And attack mode doesn't mean, to your point, Doug, doesn't mean just scoring. Attack mode means creating offense for others, making the other team feel us, and as our top guy, that's what we need from him every night. Is that type of mindset, because it gives everyone else on the court confidence. When De'Aaron's in on both ends of the court, when you feel him the way you did last night, our team plays with more confidence. We're just a better team. Even with that, I still feel like he got, fouled 3-4 times at the rim that he didn't get called. But the more that, how this league works, the more that he stays in attack mode, the more reputation he builds up, the more he'll get those foul calls, which is going to lead to, I think he was 8 free throws last night, if I'm not mistaken. And, that number, could have even been 12, 13, 14 pretty easily. So, that's what we need out of him.
Also, Coach, into the penalty with, I believe it was 7:15 or something like that in the third quarter. I was just like, hallelujah, because if you start losing a little bit of a lead now, just stay aggressive. Spectacular.
Yeah, and then the next step is to actually start making some of those.
Look at you, sounded like a coach. I feel you.
Coach, I'm curious on that part where you're talking about De'Aaron, because you could sense his frustration that he was being aggressive, not getting the calls, showing like an arm with a scratch, kept talking to the refs. How do you pick your spots in a time like that? I know you're constantly talking to the officials, but when it's, okay, my guy's not getting anything here, like how do you decide when, or is that just pure emotion, like when it just gets you and you're going to attack?
Yeah, I feel like it's my job as the head coach to take that on and to make sure I'm letting the officials know. There's going to be, it's an emotional game. It's, the players are going to have their times where they get frustrated and they let the officials know. And, but what I want them to do is stay locked into the game plan, stay locked into what we're trying to get done, and, let me handle the referees, and that's something I'm looking to do, and occasionally that's when I'll either try to get a technical foul, and if it gets real bad, get myself out there on the court and get tossed. But that's to me that's one of the responsibilities of the head coach, to make sure that that message is getting across so that the players can stay locked in.
One kind of follow up on that too. How about time of game? When are you deciding to challenge? You've been very successful on your challenges, but sometimes maybe a first quarter challenge doesn't feel right. And I know Buddy Hield's going to tell you to challenge everything that ever happens. But when do you decide, like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and challenge this call?
Yeah, so I've we spent some time doing some research on what when's the most efficient time. What there's some calls that even if they might have missed, they're just not worth the challenge. If it's the difference between them getting the ball on a side out, or if it's an and one 3-point shot, like those are two completely different challenges. So if it's an and one 3-point shot that I feel was the player kicked out his leg, and it could be a 4-point turnaround, even if it's in the first quarter, I might challenge that. If it's De'Aaron Fox or Rashawn picking up a third foul in the first half, something that's really going to affect the outcome of the game in a bigger picture, then I'll look to challenge that as well early on. So I'm more concerned of what kind of impact that play has on the game than saving it till the end.
Yeah. Coach, it looks to be some pretty good synergy between Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley, whether it's dunker spot passes, a little bit of high-low, tipping the ball to each other on the offensive or defensive backboards. Are you starting to see some growth between those two when they're playing together?
Yeah, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and because it's what you want to see. I'll constantly encourage and challenge our players to take ownership in that type of stuff. You guys are on the court. You guys are seeing things differently. There's so many possessions that are going to be in the free-flowing part of the game as opposed to dead balls or after timeouts. That the best teams are making those, they're communicating and they're making those adjustments and they're playing off of each other depending on how defenses are guarding them. And I have seen some growth with our team, with that and with those two players. So it's good to see. It's encouraging. It's something that leads me to believe that as long as we keep we stay the course and keep doing what we're doing, that chemistry will continue to grow.
Coach Luke Walton with us. Coach, yesterday you had one of those games from Buddy, which I know is really welcome for him and certainly for your offense to get that. It seemed like he got a lot of catch and shoot threes. Was that just a better setup, a better flow for him offensively?
Well, he's an unbelievable shooter in those situations. So it's something we try to create for him, and it's something that we talk to him a lot about. He believes in himself so much in his shooting ability that there's times that he runs. He runs himself out of a shot where what we call holding the corner. If he just stays in that deep corner or in that lifted slot and make that defense either not rotate and give Rashawn, De'Aaron, Tyrese an advantage at the rim, or if they're in their normal rotations and they tag, that's where he's going to get those type of shots. And he did a really nice job of that last night, being disciplined with holding his space. And then he did a really nice job of just kind of taking what the defense gave him, which is a very important skill in this level. So, we knew Orlando would be in a deep drop, and he hit a couple mid-ranges early where he was under control and had his balance. And then when they started blitzing him later in the game, he did a really nice job of just getting off the ball, and that led to open shots for others. So, him playing that solid, consistent style of basketball really helps our team. And then I thought he did a really nice job defensively too. I thought he was really engaged in trying to top block Terrence Ross and Fournier all game long, and it was really good to see.
These two players, and I talked to Jason about this earlier, Buddy, from just being such a great shooter, sometimes, and it goes with what you just said, will chase shots, and sometimes Marvin from just being a young player wanting to establish himself. And both of those guys last night, Marv had one where I believe he drove baseline, someone cut him off. It was just a nice little pitch. I believe it was to Rashawn Holmes. And then the same with Buddy is, as you just said, is that more practice, or is it more trust that they're beginning to get from their teammates?
Well, I think it's both. I'd say with a younger player like Marvin, it's probably more practice, more understanding from a concept standpoint of what we're looking to accomplish, what's important, and that's in a sense of that our team gets a good shot. It doesn't matter who it is that gets it, as long as we as a group get a good shot. And trust will definitely play into that too. And we had a long part of our film session today on the offensive side was all about the extra pass and what it looked like. And we had a lot of really good ones last night. And we had a couple that were the extra pass was right there, and we didn't make it. And the good teams are going to make that 9 out of 10 times, and it just continues to build that chemistry you're talking about. It continues to build, the success of a team, and the energy gets higher when guys are making plays for each other. Marvin had a really nice one where they collapsed on him in the paint, and he naturally wants to score that ball down there, and he kicked it to Corey Joseph in the corner for a 3.
Yeah.
So that was on the edit. And then, Buddy had a really nice one where he attacked the nail, which we call nail help, and we wanted that to be a guaranteed pass to the slot, and he made it last night to Harrison. So that was on the clip. So we're just trying to reinforce the style that we want to play, the right way of playing, and continuing to look to create for others as part of our DNA makeup.
That's nice. Coach, tomorrow, you said it earlier a little bit about Toronto, that one of the things will be to everybody's ability to guard guys, to stay in front of them. What other things can get you to a third straight win? What do you have to do with the Raptors tomorrow?
Well, first, they're getting out in transition like crazy right now, and they're playing a lot of small lineups and getting a ton of threes up. And they got 2 really good guards that kind of started all. And then, if we struggle to contain our man in a lot of the 5-out offense that they run, and we're having to rotate over and send 2 to the ball, then it's going to be a long night as far as defensively trying to get stops. So we got to get back and matched in transition, and then we got to be ready to guard the ball. We just have to, and we'll see what kind of progress we've made, because it's going to be a big-time test for us playing against them tomorrow.
Coach, I just think big boy pants tomorrow, because they kind of tried to rough us up a little bit. I am so here for tomorrow's game. Your boy's going to be sweating in the booth, baby. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Listen, Doug, if I could, get you from 15 years ago, I'd love to have you in that battle with us.
Oh, man, yes. Good luck, man. This will be a good one.
I'll take, from where we're at now, I'll take you in the studio.
I got you back, no doubt.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the road trip, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too. That's the head coach of the Kings, Luke Walton. Well, growth, and, there is growth, too, when you're going through tough times, too. Like, you have to go through that sometimes. It's not fun. But even in the win, okay, there's areas that need to get better, and we'll get better. And if it goes back tomorrow, it doesn't mean, it's all lost and forgotten. You just have to – it's the process, Doug. You just have to keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's – sometimes are there big gallops? Yeah, but sometimes it's just that little inching your way forward.
Yeah.
It's skinchy. You ever skinchy your way forward?
I think.
Yeah, that's just kind of skinchy your way.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a thing too.
Right.
And listen, as you're skinching, you might take an L.
Yeah.
But are we doing the thing? So, for instance, this effort last night was good enough to beat Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me that same thing? Can everyone play with that same attention to detail and focus? And you might lose to Toronto. Mm-hmm. But if we're starting to get the consistency, and I think that your first question, I can't remember what it was, but Luke's answer inside of it, the word consistent effort or consistent, I can't remember exactly what he said, came in, and I was thinking, that's really everything for me, is give it to me every single night the same way, with effort, enthusiasm, attention to detail, and we can live with the results, because on a lot of nights, Jason, you're going to win.
Yeah. I think it was, and I could have my timetable wrong here, but Doug, the my point would be if we just go to De'Aaron Fox, the team's best player, the leader. Statistically, his game was actually pretty nice with the triple-double, but it was a tough shooting night. But to me, it was more about how he played, the aggressive nature he played. I want to say it was maybe the second time they played the Clippers or the first time he had like 13 and was kind of a floater.
Yeah.
And like, okay, you can have 13, but do we see you? Do we feel you?
Yes.
And he said after that game, it's hard. It's hard being the franchise guy, but I think I know I have to attack. Since that game they haven't won every game.
Right.
But he's played in that way, and I think he played that way last night. I wouldn't say he had the best game. He was fine.
Right.
But I think that's to your point. Like, that game could have been 50 points for De'Aaron, or he could have 10. But is he attacking the game? And I think that's what he has to do. And if the whole team can do whatever that version is for them, that's what you need every night.
And I think that this is what De'Aaron needs to understand. I think is probably what Luke is imparting, Jason, is kind of what you're saying. If De'Aaron floats last night, you don't win.
Right.
Because of you attacking, and then you got others involved, and that's how you almost got to
penalty and all that stuff we talked
about.
Right.
That's how everybody got into their thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it has to be because you are the best player. You can get your shot whenever you want. There's going to be 3 to 5 times during a game where the ball is just outletted, and if he steps on the gas, he turns it into a 1-on-2 and he finds a seam. If he doesn't, it turns into a 2-on-5 because they flow back and get into you understand where I'm at? But are you willing to do that?
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do that, it automatically, so I'll give you an example. He takes the 1-on-2, he scores. The next time they load up a little more, it turns into a 1-on-4. He breaks down the defense, but he walks into a 3.
Yeah.
He swings it to Halliburton. Halliburton swings it to Harrison.
Productive set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a must, and it's learning how to play, but also the willingness to, because Jason, that hurts because most time when he goes in there, he's going to land on his butt.
Right.
Part of the deal.
Yeah, he did. I can remember this vividly. He did one early in the game. The reason I remember it is I didn't see it because I'm keeping stats for G-Man, a running score, running tally of the game. Orlando had just scored. I want to say it was 6-2.
Yep.
And I'm looking down and I heard G-Man go, and the other end, De'Aaron Fox. I'm like, he already scored?
Yeah.
Like I picked my head up, and you guys actually showed the replay on TV later, so I did see that play. He was on the right side, laid it in, and he had challenged Vucevic, but it was kind of a 1-on-3. He just went, and I'm like, how did he? Like that was
I said
fractions of a second after the hoop.
Coase looked down.
Yeah.
So I took it over.
Okay.
And I said to Coase, I said, Coase, you can't look down. He said, well, now you tell me.
Yeah, because it was that fast.
It was that fast. They scored bang. It was, I want to say it was about 4 dribbles. And he was on top of them. Boom.
Right.
And deliver. You got to do that at least up to probably 5-6 times a game.
Yeah. That's the pressure he put on. I love Luke's. I didn't realize they had I guess I should figure out everything now has analytics or numbers behind it, but that they've actually studied some of the things on when to challenge. When he said that, he's like, no, I get like, okay, it's a touch foul in the first quarter. I'm not challenging that. Or a 3-pointer and 1, the value of that. But so just some of the other things, they've got some metrics on when to do it because if you do listen to Buddy, he wants,
I say,
come on. Sometimes you do foul.
Right. And
sometimes he's right.
But it's also time and score and different things like that. If you can get away with saving that.
Yeah, it's important.
It's important because there's always, I would say always, but pretty much, especially if it's a close game, when you get into the late third, fourth quarter, there's a swing play.
Yeah. I actually thought Steve Clifford did his too early. I didn't even remember. It was like an offensive foul, they took away from Marvin. He actually lost the challenge, but I'm like, I don't know why.
Because then Marvin came back and shot 1 free throw, and we were going, what happened?
Yeah.
Because we're all the way here. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, it's always great to catch up with the coach of the Kings, Luke Walton. We got 1 more hour to go. We got 5 on it coming your way next. We got lots of things to cover, including we'll hear from Robert Saleh. We will hear from stuff with the Raiders. We got a preview of the Raptors. Miami's coming up on the Kings schedule, and Let Them Play going on in our community. All that is coming your way as we continue with 5 on it next here on KHTK.
Sacramento, D.C. here for my real estate agent. And I say ours because that is talking about the Christie family. That would be Bonnie Smith at BonnieSmithGroup.com. Met with Bonnie. It's been a couple months now, and just kind of broke down what my wife and I were looking for. And this turned out to be an incredibly easy process. And the fact that it has been extremely private, she's taken great care of us. I can come on here and tell you from experience that Bonnie is first class, and she will deliver to you a real estate adventure of your dreams. And hopefully for you, like us, ending up as we are in the process of trying to get everything closed on our home, you're going to love it. We went from Folsom to Lincoln, Roseville, Carmichael, Granite Bay. We went everywhere trying to make sure that we covered all of our bases, and Bonnie was integral in making sure that it was done in a safe manner. But if you want to take advantage of the real estate market as it is right now as a buyer or a seller, Bonnie Smith at BonnieSmithGroup.com can take care of your every need. Trust me, check her out today. You will not be mad that you did.
Here we are, 5 o'clock hour, final hour of the day. Remember, Kings basketball tomorrow. Kings will be taking on the Toronto Raptors in Tampa Bay. Yep, that's right. Even Luke's like, that's kind of weird to be in Tampa Bay. Never been here. Seems like a nice city.
I think that's where El Boogie lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Full time?
So. Yeah.
I mean, obviously non-season.
Yeah. No, Lawrence Funderburg.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call him El Boogie.
Yeah, I got you. Really? I didn't know that. When was the last time you talked to him?
On the show here, when COVID started,
right.
And Jay hooked us up with all the different interviews.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. He's good?
Yeah. You didn't know we called him El Boogie.
I did not. I forgot.
Yeah, he kind of would tell you to call him that. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Nice to meet you. It's like, what's up, Lawrence?
What's up, El Boogie?
Call me El Boogie.
Okay. I like that.
Oh, just saying.
Hey, get your grill ready for the big game with Cinch Propane's home delivery by logging in to cinch.com. All right, we got plenty to get to here with 5 on it. So you ready?
Own it.
Let's do it. Boom, boom. All right, 5 on it. Let's start with, we got different things to hit. The Jets today. We'll check in on the Raiders. We got, in our community, Let Them Play is coming up. We'll discuss what that is. We also have a preview on the Toronto Raptors. But let's start with the Miami Heat. That's a team the Kings are going to be playing this weekend. They've been struggling a bit, but we check in with Ethan Skolnick, who's a CEO of A Reason 5 and host of Best Miami podcast. Ethan, right now, let's help us understand what's going on with the Heat. Is this strictly injury or performance? Why have they struggled so far?
Well, I mean, it's mostly COVID, to be honest, of late. I mean, there's a little bit of injury stuff thrown in there. It seems like every night somebody else goes out, and even tonight, you know, they're way down as we speak. I mean, we just found out that Iguodala's not playing, so they've got 9 available. But essentially, you know, they had a bunch of players dealing with the COVID protocols. A couple of them, Bradley and Butler, have taken longer to get back. Avery Bradley comes back, and he goes right back out because he bumps his knee early in the game. Tyler Hero had to carry the load because all these other guys were out, and then he got hurt. He probably shouldn't have been playing at all, and you know, then he misses 7 games. He's finally back tonight. So if you look at their top 4 players, I mean, Bam, Butler, Dragic, and Hero, the only one who's been in there consistently of late is Bam. And so, you know, it's one thing to say you're making excuses for them and everything else, but they pretty much had like 3 games with their normal rotation the entire season. So they haven't really gotten out of the starting gate at all. And look, I mean, they could have bent the rules a little bit. I think, you know, the Heat way is to kind of play it by the book, but I think if they could do it again, they probably would have sat Tyler Hero in one of those games where they had only 8 guys because Tyler was legitimately hurt. And that's how screwed up this season is, because by not making that decision, you know, after they played against Washington, which is a team that may have infected others, who knows? It certainly seems everybody who played the Wizards had problems afterwards. Miami basically lost the last 3 weeks, and they've got to dig out of this hole now in the Eastern Conference.
Even with that being said, I know Eric Spoelstra pulls no punches and he uses no excuses. Where do you see them? Is he happy with the effort, the attention to detail, and how they're playing overall, especially after what they were able to do last year, making it to the finals?
Well, yeah, he's a no excuses guy. We have enough, you know, that kind of stuff. I think he's happy with the effort. I don't think he's happy with the attention to detail. But I think what's happened here is that you have a lot of guys who are not playing their normal roles, and you know, when you do that, you know, that's where you have turnovers. They're one of the most turnover-prone teams in the league. They're a small team to begin with, and right now they're last in rebounding. They really didn't address the issue of who was going to play next to Bam this year. You know, they brought in Harkless. He didn't really show much, and then he got hurt. You know, Precious Achiuwa has been a nice draft pick for them, but Myers Leonard, they gave him $9 million. He's played in 2 games. Kelly Olynyk has really struggled. So, I mean, I think, look, they have the pieces here to still be a contender in the Eastern Conference, but they have so many guys that are doing things they're not accustomed to doing, and so they're not doing them well. And really, the only real positive this year has been Bam kind of taking that next step. And with Bam, it's really about whether he believes he can take it. I don't think we question it at all, or the fans question it. I think it's just, does he believe he can be an alpha on this team? And without Jimmy, without Goran at times, without Hero, he's had to do it, and Bam is having a tremendous season. But beyond that, it's pretty much been a struggle for everybody else.
Who's more important to their long-term success? Not long-term, but season-long success, Jimmy or Bam?
It's a great question. I think from an energy standpoint, in terms of feeding off of energy, Jimmy is still so critical. They take on his personality, and I think a lot of their guys have really suffered from him not being out there. But as far as who may be the better player by the end of this year, even when Jimmy gets back to full strength, I think we're seeing a meteoric rise with Bam Adebayo. They call him No Ceiling. It's actually one of the guys on my network who came up with that, and now Bam's adopted it. He just doesn't have any. I mean, there's really nothing on the court he can't do. He's an elite mid-range shooter after refusing to take the shot all last season. I mean, his numbers are off the charts. He's shooting 90% from 3 feet or in, and now he's shooting in the 50s from beyond 16 feet. So at some point he's going to take the Chris Bosh step backwards, and he's going to start making threes. And then at that point, I don't really know what you do with him because there's virtually, and he's playing point guard for them right now, and he's anchoring their defense. So, look, I love what Jimmy did for the Heat last year. I don't think Bam could carry the Heat like Jimmy did during the finals at this stage. But if you're asking who's the better player by the end of the year, I think Jimmy Butler might say it's Bam Adebayo.
Either many times when you go through the league, second time around, they start to understand you a little bit. Kind of give us a grade on what you've seen with Tyler Hero and his growth after just a spectacular bubble last year.
Yeah, look, he struggled a little bit early this year because, they put him in more of a playmaking pick-and-roll role. They don't really have point guards on this team. Dragic is a point guard, but he kind of looks for his, and so Jimmy and Bam have done a lot of that. So they wanted to create one additional playmaker, and so they gave Tyler a lot of responsibility. He had some turnovers early, and then he really settled in until he got hurt. And that's why I say he's back tonight, but that's why I say this was a shame. They had to put a 40-minute burden on him 2 straight nights when his neck was bothering him because they simply refused to say that he was hurt when they could have gone under the 8-player threshold. And Tyler missed 7 games. So, I think Tyler will pick up where he left off. He's a quick study. He works extremely hard. I also think what bothered him early in the season is that, he was being thrown into every James Harden trade whenever, and I think now he's being thrown into every Bradley Beal trade. And, I hope he handles it better this time around because I think you could see him thinking too much, trying to do too much. But I really like Tyler's future. I think Tyler will be an all-star in the league. I don't think he'll be a perennial all-star, but I think he'll be a guy who certain seasons can get you 22, 23 points on pretty high efficiency. And he does some other things. He's not a bad defender, and he's become a plus passer. He just, again, has to cut down on some of the turnovers.
All right, Ethan, thank you. We appreciate that, getting some perspective on the Miami Heat. I hope it kind of stays that way, Doug, until the Kings get out of South Beach.
Yeah, I'm with that.
After this weekend.
No doubt.
All right, let's move on next on 5 on It. We talked a little bit about this earlier, about the Raiders. They need to get better. How do they get better? Well, their GM, Mike Mayock, is looking for more production, but he's looking at a specific group from the team.
I was disappointed in the productivity of our rookies. I'll be the first one to admit that. You can make excuses. You can have a conversation why. Henry Ruggs, I think, is who he is. I'm not disappointed in Henry. I think Henry's got to get better, and we knew how fast he is, but he's got to get stronger, and he's got to get in and out of his breaks better. You got to feel him coming out of his breaks more for him to get to the next level, and I think he will. But we've got a long-term view on Henry Ruggs. Arnett was the other first-rounder. In training camp, prior to injury, he was playing really well. We were excited about Damon Arnett. He's instinctive, tough, and fast. But concussions, a broken hand, COVID, okay, he's got to take care of business in the off-season. Nutrition, strength coach, consistency of a day-to-day program. John Abram, another first-round pick. John gets out of control sometimes. John's got to play under control, accentuate the positive, and take away the negative. So there's some guys back there that we think can play, and there's some reasons their growth has been stunted, but they need to step up this year.
Pretty strong comments of players that he's talking about, but I think that kind of stuff happens, especially in exit meetings and those kind of things. This is what we need from you, and they're certainly not getting him, at least on that. But when it's been injury, that's a little bit tough. Ruggs, they need everybody to get better, no matter if you're a rookie or 4th, 5th year guy. They all have to keep improving.
Does Mayock always? Is that how he talks?
I know he has as an analyst or as a guy that used to be on the NFL Network all the time, but yeah, it's weird to hear that a little bit from a GM, but I think that's who he is.
Okay, so there's a aggressive style.
Yeah,
okay.
Very much so.
Like John Gruden hasn't rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, listen, it's tough.
He's not wrong, I don't think.
No, he's not. I would say with Ruggs is a heck of a player. That's what you want to see out of your young players. I guess it might be different that you don't necessarily hear them saying that. Also, I think he understands if they're going to get better, it's going to, similar to what we've seen with De'Aaron Fox. Like, listen, guys, if we want to go up, Abrams, like that 15-yard penalty can happen. Yeah. Do I like that you're a heat-seeking missile? Yeah, I do.
That was the tough one, I thought, because that's part of his charm is he is fearless, but how do you rein that in? Because I wouldn't want to lose that.
Right.
But can you be smart with it, I guess?
You got to be, because otherwise it's going to happen at a time that penalizes us in a way that one weekend, one Sunday is going to be the difference in us making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. And you're my guy. I need you to really, really be locked in. So I can understand the criticism.
Yeah, here's one more from Mayock about the defense.
The way we look at it, or at least the way I look at it, is that last year we did not have a dynamic playmaker at any level. Okay, and that's hard when you go into a game every Sunday and they don't have to specifically game plan for any one player, okay? When you take a step back, do you go, is there anybody in the building that could be a dynamic playmaker? And I think we have a few guys. You know, Max Crosby played through some injuries last year that a lot of people wouldn't. I think Cleveland Farrell is going to continue to develop.
Well, again, I think if you can spot them and groom them and grow them, but they weren't all there, and it didn't. Certainly, that was not the strength of the team. Was their defense? They need some more playmakers, like he's saying.
Yeah, but this is going to now. It's also like, let's not take the spotlight off of you. This is your job.
True.
Go out and find them.
You drafted them or trade for them or whatever.
Maybe you need to sign a few. Identify what it is that you need schematically, how you're going about it, and whatever that Raider-esque style is going to be. Make sure that you are lining them up. Other teams are doing it, so part of this is you too. But I understand that he's talking about the players and what he would like to see and all those different things. But you got to make sure that you get make the right picks.
Yeah, the goods, they need it. And, again, we say this a lot in the NFL. You're not far away, but the Raiders were far enough away that they couldn't be a playoff team.
It seemed like they lost a little juice.
They did.
As they went on.
As the season went on.
Faded
the last 2 years, I would say.
Right. So that is up now to management and coaching and different things. Is it up to the players? Yeah, it is. But are teams catching up to you after kind of the first half of the season or whatever? Because there was a point there. It seemed like it happened. Was it after the Kansas City game where they won or competed at a high level and then they just got fizzled in a big way? Why is that? What is that? And you got to figure that out.
All right, let's move on, Doug, here. More on 5 on it. Something right here in our community. Let's check in with one of our members of the community. That's Jeff Pitnikoff, who's a community member, but also part of Let Them Play. Jeff, let's start with that. For those that don't know, what is the Let Them Play initiative?
Hey, gentlemen, thank you. Let Them Play is a grassroots campaign made up of parents, coaches, and student athletes all over the state who've come together for one cause, and that's to get the kids off the bench after 11 months and back in the game.
How is it proposed, I guess, to try to keep them as safe as possible when we think about testing and all the different things? What is the mindset around that?
Well, it's a great question, and we have been working with coaches across the state and coaches across the country who have been able to successfully do it. There's 40-plus states who have already finished their high school football season, and there's a few others that just kicked off right now. We know that we've got neighboring states as well who are holding tournaments every weekend. They're doing it safely. There's no data to suggest that these events or seasons are, super spreaders for COVID. And it's been proven so far with 11 months of gathering this data that it can be done safely.
Is it just the rules in California? Is that pretty much what it is? And I guess that you'd be speaking in Nevada, some other places that are able to finish seasons, start seasons, that sort of thing.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was blown away a few days ago when I learned this. I heard this from some of the other organizers in this group. Youth sports is the only sector in California that has not been given a chance to reopen since March of 2020.
Wow.
And, Jeff, what are we talking about numbers? I mean, you're statewide. I know there's plenty of athletes all across the board, parents, like you said, coaches. What are you kind of looking at in your support group? How big is your group that wants to let them play?
Well, it's growing every hour, it seems like. 3 weeks ago, this campaign kind of went public, if you will. We're 52,000 members strong right now, and like I said, growing every day. We are beginning to see athletes and celebrities that are starting to, come on board and speak out for the kids. That's been great. There are some high-level conversations going on right now with the governor and Dr. Galley and those that are in charge of making the decisions. And it's growing every day. This Friday will be a huge day for this movement, and there'll be rallies happening all over the state. And we're very excited to continue pushing for these kids.
I've talked to some parents. I know a few people that have dealt with some mental health, some different things with the teenagers. How much of that is influencing parents to try to get involved and make sure that their kids are getting back active again?
That's a great question, and it's something that has to be honed in on now that we're 11 months into this. I was just thinking about this, you guys, a few minutes ago. The last time, basically, that an organized youth sports game has been played in our great state was March 11, 2020, the night where the huge Kings game against the Pelicans. It was nationally televised. Remember that? I know you guys remember that. That night, the game got called right before tip-off. Since that moment, there's not been a tournament. There's not been a game in this state. And the mental health is it's a problem right now. Suicide and depression is up amongst teenagers. Grades for high school athletes are tremendously down. There are student athletes that are dropping out at a scary rate right now. There's the amount of high school gang members that have, kids that have joined gangs during this time. Teen pregnancy is up. Incarceration amongst high school students is up. All these things are scary, and we have to start realizing this and focusing on the kids and how this whole year has impacted them.
All right, last thing for you, Jeff, and we appreciate your time. What about, where is the rally tomorrow, at least for those in our community here in Sacramento?
Yeah, thanks, guys. There's a rally in the greater Sacramento area at the Sunrise Mall in Citrus Heights. We've got a great lineup of speakers. It starts at 4 o'clock. We've got about a 45 to 50-minute rally packed with just great voices from around the community. And then we are going to head out there on the corner with our signs, and it's just going to be a great time. And there's no guarantee. We've been telling everyone there's no guarantee that tomorrow's rally is going to open up youth sports around the state. But one thing that is for sure a guarantee is that when this whole thing is all over and behind us, our kids are going to remember that we stood up for them, we spoke up for them, and we showed up for them.
There you go. Your voices will be heard. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that. Again, 4 to 5 tomorrow. Sunrise and Greenback, rain or shine. We continue 5 on it. Let's check in on tomorrow's opponent for the Kings. They're taking on the Raptors, yes, in Tampa Bay. Mike Ganter, who is a Toronto Sun sports writer and Raptors beat writer, joining us. Mike, let's start with the Raptors. We saw them here not that long ago, and that game flipped completely, but they still haven't quite completely found their footing. What do you attribute that to as they still try to get back to 500?
It's pretty obvious for me. I mean, you lose Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, who were both key guys. I mean, I know they both didn't start, but Serge may as well have been a starter. And you take those two guys out of the mix, and it just hasn't been the same. Like they're still not right. This team, all their success is based on their defense, and they've got to be on a string. They've got to be communicating. They've got to be, one guy leaves his man, then the other one's got to slip in and cover for him, and it's just that has been on a tee the last 2 years. And this year, it's not even close. So until they get that back, I don't think we're going to see the Raptors that we've seen for the past few years.
Mike, as you look at Pascal Siakam and watch the evolution from the 9-1-6 to the big club to winning the championship, but part of that is becoming the guy and moving up on the scouting report, and everything is focused around you. What is the next evolution for his game to allow him to be more productive Pascal that we've seen in the past?
Yeah, well, it's like you said, Doug. I mean, he's seeing double and sometimes triple teams now, and it's just knowing when to get the ball or when to get rid of the ball, right? I mean, sometimes he gets a little stubborn at times, and he tries to play through the double team and do it by himself, and that's just not working. I mean, that's the next evolution, is just figuring out that perfect, like, second man comes, find the open guy, and then the ball gets moving. And with this team, quite often the ball will get back to him. Like, I mean, it's their ball movement can be very good. It has been very good, but I mean, I don't know if he's just reluctant to give it up, or if it's just not getting out of his hands quick enough, or what. But he's not been quite consistent enough with that part of his game. And once he figures that out, he'll be back to the guy that. We still see those flashes where he that spin move down in the paint, and he leaves his defender just sort of reaching at air. So he's still I still believe it's there. It's just sort of figuring out what to do when that second man comes and how soon to get off the ball.
Spicy P.
Spicy P.
Yes.
He's the spicy one.
How about no other team has to go through this? Everybody's going through difficult times with COVID and different things, or fans or no fans, but they're in a different location. How's the adjustment for the players been to Tampa?
Yeah, they're trying. They don't want to use it as an excuse, and I'll say they haven't used it as an excuse. But you're right. I think there's an impact there. Early on, it was just it happened pretty quick. They were still hoping that they could that the government here would they'd cut a deal where teams could come in, quarantine, or could come in straight from the airport, straight to the hotel to the arena, and basically sort of self-quarantine that way. The government shut that down, and they had no choice but to go down to Tampa. And once down in Tampa, like I said, they got there late. It was a couple of days before they were supposed to open training camp, and then all these guys are trying to find accommodation. That was actually kind of difficult because, as you know, the Super Bowl's in Tampa, and a lot of the available properties were being held off the market for that lucrative 1 week Super Bowl week, because these guys can make as much money renting out their condos and renting out their beachfront properties just for the week, as opposed to having somebody, over 2 or 3 months. So that was an issue. But I mean, I think they're handling it okay. They're, they certainly got a test run last year working out of the bubble. And, I mean, like you said, there's an uneven playing field here for sure. They're the only ones that are, playing out of market, and in their case, out of country.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like I said, they're handling it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that, giving us some insight on the Tampa Bay / Toronto Raptors. Last topic here on 5 on It. The Jets, they got a new coach. We know that. It's Robert Saleh, who came over from the 49ers. He was on Huddle and Flow, which is a show with Steve Weish and Jim Trotter, and he shared his thoughts on Sam Darnold.
What I can tell you about Sam is that he is an unbelievable talent. There's a reason why he was the 3rd overall pick. It's very clear. Just watch the tape. I get production aside, just watch the player. He's got tremendous mobility. He's got arm talent. He's fearless. He's smart. He's quick. He's a good, precise decision maker. He's loved in the locker room. People adore him around this building. So there's a reason why he's the 3rd overall pick, and let's be real, he's 23 years old, so he hasn't even scratched the surface of life yet. So there's a lot to Sam, but there's so many discussions that need to be had and so many moving parts with regards to the rest of the roster and the whole entire building, the draft, free agency, all of it, to give an answer on where we are at that point. There's just, with Joe and his staff, there's just a lot of discussions that have to be had, but at the same time with Sam, I'm not hiding behind the veil or anything. The kid's very, very talented, and it shows on tape when you really just watch it. Results aside, you just have to watch his tape to really see how talented the young man is.
Does that lead you to believe he'll be their quarterback or no?
No.
Yeah, that's how I took it too.
Right, but I'm a Darnold fan, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can play. I know you have a biased opinion, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think so. If they can get Deshaun Watson, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's an upgrade. You do that. You look for. I'm actually with you, believe it or not. I think he can play too. I do.
Really?
Yeah. But I think that they're in that spot, and that's a tough spot for Robert Saleh too, because I don't feel like that's a coach decision. That's a general manager decision. So he could come out and say, he's our starting quarterback. Well, if the GM doesn't believe that, what word are you getting from the front office, from management, that kind of thing? So I don't put anything on him, but I mean, he was quick to praise him and thinks he's got a lot of talent and potential, and there still is a chance he'll be their quarterback. I just don't think he will be.
Yeah, I think they also haven't given him the requisite pieces to demonstrate what he can do, because I think he can do a little something.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that is 5 on it. Doug and I will take a break. We still got a half hour left, which includes the crossover. We'll look back at the night in the NBA when we return here on KHTK. Back here on KHTK, Jason Ross, Doug Christie. More This Day Thursday for you.
You interrupted my sumo tangerine there, brother.
I did that?
Yeah.
You can keep going.
Okay, I'll be back.
Do the show.
Just do the show. Wow, that's weird.
All right.
We were just saying that in here.
We were.
1988. Denver Nuggets point guard Michael Adams takes a record streak to 79 consecutive games with at least one three-point field goal. That was in a loss to Indiana. Buddy's working on a nice streak.
Yeah, he is. 88, 88, 88. Okay, anyway.
Is that what you're chanting on every broadcast?
No.
Oh. Okay.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No problem.
What?
Buddy Love.
88. Pepperdine?
No, high school.
Oh, yeah, not Pepperdine yet.
Yeah, not yet.
State champs?
Absolutely.
After the coaching coup?
Yeah, there was a coup. I told you about that.
You did. That's why I brought it up.
It was. Did I tell you off air?
You did. That's why I didn't. That's why I left it very open-ended. If you want to fill in the pieces, you can. If you don't, then we'll move on.
What were we talking about that day that I said?
There was some other story about. Gosh, now I can't put it together. It wasn't that long ago. We were out at the arena, and you told me during the break or after the show.
Okay, so we're in high school. 87, 88. 88 is my graduation year. It's year we win the state championship. Well, right before the year started, our coach, Mel Williams, he leaves the school. There was some stuff happened. He leaves. So they bring in Mel Williams, we have a
was it a rival?
Arch rival.
Yeah.
Not just a rival. It was one of the big-time rivals, South. And we battled them all the time. So they tell us, hey, Mel is gone. We're going to bring your coach. We're across the street at this South Shore Middle School. We're practicing. We're waiting for the coach to come down. So in walks the assistant coach of Chief South. And I'm looking at everybody and they say, here's your new coach. And I'm like, the hell he is? Nah, we're out of here. I said, how are you going to be over at Chief South and now you're going to come over here and coach us? That is not a thing. We all walked out. So they hired Francis Williams, and then we went on to win the state title that year. And we beat them.
Wow.
Not for state. We beat them for the semifinals.
Have you talked to that person since?
No, you know what? I can't remember his name.
Because you were the team leader, best player. You walk out and you force.
We are out of here.
Force a guy to not get a job.
Well, listen,
James Harden.
No, it wasn't.
Coach Killer.
Come on, man.
Listen, man. You know how it rolls, especially in the hood. We ain't going for that. How you gonna come over here and coach us, man? We've been going at each other's neck for real.
He wouldn't have got you to the title?
Livelihood.
Hey.
You don't go for that?
No,
I think his last name was Richardson.
Coach Richardson, if you're listening to this.
I apologize, man. Well, we won state. It worked out for us.
For you.
Wow. I didn't know Doug had
Cutthroat.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't cutthroat. They followed me out that gym.
Chris.
We up out of here.
Classless.
Come on.
Going to have to call you Easy E. Because that's a ruthless record.
I told you, your boy. I told your boy used to wild out, man.
Man, you cold blood.
I'm sorry, man.
But I could just picture everyone else oh, well, Doug's, let's go.
No doubt.
This is the same guy who's going to make it to the NBA, right? The coach said, Doug's the only one that's going to make it to the NBA.
That coach left.
Right. So now everybody's like, Doug's going to make it to the NBA. He doesn't want
Which is probably
Coach
why
Richardson.
the other guy came over. He's like, I want to coach this guy. He's got talent. I can take this team. I want to beat my school.
Nah.
But you want to know part
we ain't getting down like that, man.
Jason, remember earlier in the show, you were saying, how come these other schools weren't looking for Doug
Now we see.
to bring to their team?
Off the court issues.
They know that if they're bringing them in, they're losing their job.
Off the court issues, Chris.
Listen, I'm not going for that.
Campus issues.
Straight up.
Listen, you're Viking. Look. They were Chiefs. Chief South.
Okay.
Yeah, we were Vikings. This is how we roll over here. You come over here and try to tell us what to do. We ain't having that.
Did you know anything about the other coach that came in?
Yeah. He wasn't from the neighborhood, but
did you hand pick him?
Oh no, Francis Williams. No, but I knew that it was Mel's cousin, and Petey, who was my coach. He used to be down here all the time when we were playing. Petey was like
a lot of inside cooking.
Hey man, that's how we roll.
Is there an asterisk on that state title?
No.
Is everybody?
No.
Was everybody available?
Now, if we wouldn't have met Chief Self in the semifinals, okay, maybe put an asterisk on it.
Did you give an extra look when you beat that team to the assistant coach?
No, I wasn't.
Did he get his coach? Did Coach Richardson get his job back at the other school?
I don't know, man.
Livelihood.
Wow.
Took that man's livelihood, his passion, his love for the game.
You guys make me feel bad.
That's
man.
terrible, Jason.
I mean, I'm ashamed.
Why?
That's your partner every day.
Yeah.
You guys, man, you guys make me
This is
feel
terrible.
bad.
We got to find Coach Richardson. That could have changed the livelihood of his life. If he went state, maybe he goes to junior college or Washington State or something.
Maybe he's the legend at Washington State for years, still
Correct.
coaching now.
Could you imagine what part of the interruption would have said about Doug?
I think we ought to tell him now. It's not too late.
Right.
Listen, man, I was just giving you a story. Come on.
That's why I said if you want to fill in the pieces, you can.
Listen, we're Vikings. That's how we roll. I'm sorry.
That's cold, man.
Yeah, we had other people that were in our.
No other teammates like, hey, you know what?
Hell no. Come on.
Really?
We
You
all
know
in
for
this.
sure?
We all in this. No, it's probably yeah.
Man, Doug's forcing this on us.
Hey, man, I tell you, inner city, it gets rough up in there, man. When you start talking about playing time and different stuff, we had a lot of. I've got stories for you. Can't tell them all on the air, but parents.
So if this is a story that you're fine with telling on the air,
exactly.
Imagine the stories that you don't want to tell on
That
the
you
air.
forcefully coached a man from his love and passion.
Now listen.
You pushed him out the door.
Our athletic director could have said, "This is what we gonna do," but they didn't.
Because they wanted their job.
Right.
Because they know Christie will come after me next.
No, it wasn't. I was just the leader of the team, so I'm like, they could have figured it out. They were grown-ups. We were like, we out of here, man.
This guy's got power.
So you wait a minute. He comes in the gym,
walks down the stairs,
and you see him.
Oh no!
I'm like, exactly.
Do you just immediately walk off, or do you say something?
He doesn't give an early speech.
He
talked?
introduced him and he got ready.
Did you know who he was by sight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, on site, no doubt. I'm
already
thinking you just drove from West Seattle over here, and you gonna walk in here and nah, that's not a thing.
Boy,
we're moving on.
It's cold, man.
Hey, I apologize. We
to us, but not to him.
We went on to win state. I think I may have seen him since. I can't remember.
Did you write him a note like you did, Coach?
Nah. Those high school rivalries.
Oh, you didn't. You didn't feel the same way.
Nah.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
I 100% fully agree with that.
I agree. I know. We're just
those things is.
My school doesn't even exist, and I still hate the school rivalries.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
To this day, I'm with you.
I mean, he might have came in and listen. We outscored Self by 2 points in the first quarter, or 4 points in the first quarter in the semifinals. The score was tied the rest of the game. That's how we went.
Wow.
He might have threw it, man. Who knows?
How many you go for?
I don't know. I went for the win. That's what I went for.
That's all you remember.
That's it.
You're in the rafters.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's not. Because you guys kicked him out. Changed the whole perception of his life. That's sad. He could have been walking around with a ring.
Right, man.
Everything. You have your ring still?
Yeah, I still got it.
He
It's at
doesn't.
the house.
Yeah,
No.
he doesn't. Your
cries.
jersey up on the wall at Rainier Beach?
He cries about it every
He's
night.
not there. How about your Coach Williams? Is he up there?
I'm
Is
sure
his name
Fran-
up there on the rafters with you?
I'm pretty sure Fran's up there.
And Coach Richardson, we feel bad for you, sir.
do.
Hey, I
You don't.
no.
Oh my goodness.
You guys are not nice, man. How did we get here?
I don't know.
Can you hit the blinker?
No. Yes, I can.
Run the red light.
I can tell you this.
It's
Here's
a
our
cinch.
blinker.
I know that.
Get your grill ready for the big game with Cinch Propane's home delivery by logging in to cinch.com. Last night in the NBA, Doug, we saw another win for the Utah Jazz. My goodness, that's 10 in a row. They're 14-4. They got the best record in the West. They passed the Lakers because the Lakers lost to Philly. We still think they're good. But how about Utah? 10 in a row.
I watched them play, man. They play a really good. In matter of fact, when I watched it, I taped it because I was like, this is where the Kings need to graduate to. Meaning that they have a star in Donovan Mitchell. Mm-hmm. They have a linchpin in the middle in Rudy Gobert, and they've learned how to compete together. But then they've put pieces around them. They got Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, scoring about 17, probably going to be your sixth man of the year, and just good players. But it's how they play, and that is space and IQ and cutting and back picks and ball movement, and it's really nice to watch, man. So it's part of my study session.
Oh,
Utah Jazz.
Yeah,
No
I
doubt.
mean, impressive with what they're doing. So again, they're 14-4.
What should their thing be?
What do you mean?
Jazz should be in New Orleans. Give it to me. Come on.
This would give Utah something else?
Yeah.
Well, you already have the Lakers, right? But I was thinking like Salt Lake or Utah. I don't know.
Salty?
3-team trade.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who get the Lakers. The Lakers go to Utah.
Okay.
Jazz goes to New Orleans.
What do the Lakers get?
But don't the Lakers go to Minneapolis?
They were there.
Yeah, but
Oh, you know how they have in L.A. all those wolves walking around in the
They
hills?
get the Timberwolves.
So they get the wolves.
the Hollywoods. That's a thing right there. I'm just saying, the Jazz
Stars?
doesn't
Isn't
really,
it crazy how like
doesn't do it for me.
the Kings are like the only L.A. team? Lakers came from Minnesota. Dodgers came from Brooklyn. Clippers came from San Diego.
It's kind of a thing of L.A.
Angels came from Anaheim and are still in Anaheim.
But they're L.A.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of goes there. Got any homegrowns? Kobe.
Oh, that
Magic.
been there from the beginning. Yeah.
It's about
Pretty
it.
rare. Pretty rare.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got a spy in here. By the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah, we
I
do.
can't really talk about it much.
Oh, we're getting to the bottom of it. That's why he's going to commercial.
Yeah, you see him now. You got all nervous and jittery, and
No,
yeah.
what I was-
Go ahead, do your thing, man.
I will.
Do the show.
I was going to say that you brought it up earlier that it was Greg Popovich's 71st birthday.
Yeah.
He also got the vaccine, and he's encouraging everybody else to as well.
Okay, Pop.
Yeah.
Out in the front
I don't
of
know if
it.
it's shot 1 or shot 2, but he's gotten a version of the vaccine.
Okay. Are all the do you know this? The vaccines 2 stages?
I think there's one that's allegedly coming out with Johnson & Johnson. That might be one, but I don't think it's on market yet.
Yeah, vaccine and the word allegedly does not work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a negative.
G-Man got it a couple days ago.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And his wife.
Yes.
Marlene.
What's like, it's like disappointing, but it's good at the same time. Just hearing him being like excited, like tomorrow I'm finally getting it. I'm finally getting it.
Yeah, we want to keep
Well,
protect him at all costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jason, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make sure that
I was in line, but then Doug
that
removed
Alva
my
and
place
Jackson-
from line.
No,
Like we removed the coaches.
Yeah, we put.
Anyway, on that
boy,
note,
sometimes I should shut up. Huh?
we have the crossover. That's next. Final segment straight ahead here at KHTK. Back here on KH2K, final segment of the show. Remember, tomorrow we are back from the arena. Actually, no show, but we'll have game night, an earlier start when the Kings will take on the Raptors in Toronto. Let's see. We got another this day, Thursday for you. 1990. 49ers defend their NFL championship, winning their 4th Super Bowl overall with a 55-10 win over the Broncos in the Super Bowl. That was in the Superdome in Louisiana. Most valuable player, Joe Montana.
Joe.
55-10. Yeah.
In the game?
Yeah.
The game?
There was a stretch there for a while where the Super Bowl was having blowouts. We haven't really had that late. We've had some good games.
Did you just do that? You just did it, didn't you? Blame Jason, everyone.
For?
No, blame Mahomes.
This guy. Chris.
But we're both saying the same thing.
Good point.
Kansas City's going to blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of what Jason said.
All right.
You ready for a couple of finishing stories here?
As long as I don't get anybody, in trouble.
I mean, Doug did give us a finishing story already. He finished that coach off.
That's true. Good point.
Come on, man.
How about this? And Jay sent us this story earlier today. Disgraced NBA official Tim Donaghy. We all know who he is. He's making his he made his pro wrestling debut as a crooked ref.
Did you see my reply to Jay in the text thread?
Yes.
Yeah, he's number one.
I never liked the crooked ref.
You never liked the crooked ref? Me neither, Chris.
Yeah.
You can't make that stuff up.
I know.
I don't know. I'm not here for this one.
All right, short story.
You going to tune in?
What?
You going to tune in and check it out?
Nah.
Me neither.
Not into that.
Yeah.
Not too
One of my
interested
favorite wrestlers of all times is on MLW.
Which is?
La Parka. You have his mask.
I do. I've worn it. That's why I wear it.
That's why I gave it to you.
Capital Casino now open again with their outdoor gaming venue at 411 North 16th Street in Sacramento.
No.
Yeah. How about, you know what? Since we didn't have a show yesterday, I gave those guys a crossover this morning. I just wanted you to hear it because.
Oh, God.
No, I asked them I referenced you. I said, Doug's it's a small percentage of people in the world that have ever made the NBA. I mean, that's incredible. So I said, what do you, Dave, and what do you, Jay, think you are better at than the majority of the world? Like, everybody has like little something. Like, what do you think?
That's solid work right
Dave
there.
said he
Smoking.
he thinks he can make
Just put him on blast, huh?
movie theater popcorn better than most of the world. And then
that's because he likes a lot of butter, obviously,
Maybe.
and maybe he's salty.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jay, of all things, he said he just has a palate for it. He can tell the difference between a chicken sandwich, chicken fingers, it's his skill set.
That's all chicken. That makes no sense.
But he says he can tell you that if it's, I don't know if it was a blind, he was like, that's a nugget, I don't know.
Hold on. Hold.
I just heard the answer.
We can do it by cut. I mean, that makes no sense.
Well, I mean, also, isn't a sandwich in the sandwich, or are you saying it's just a piece of chicken that goes in the sandwich?
I can tell the difference between butter, and I can't believe it's not butter.
You can?
I can.
What about
balance?
Yes.
What about balanced spread?
Wait, you're certain of that?
Certain.
Can we test
what
that?
Happened? What did he say?
Chris said he can definitely tell the difference between butter, and I can't believe it's not butter.
Okay. Like real butter compared to like fake margarine?
Like sweet cream butter?
Or just that specific you're talking about. Like, I can't believe it's not butter.
I don't.
Challenge.
Yes.
I'm feeling that one.
So what's the issue here? You guys aren't buying Jay's belief. I just heard him say it. That's all.
Okay, let me clarify for you.
I don't know if I
time.
can clarify anymore.
So a nugget is breaded, okay?
No, but
like
I guess
everyone can tell the difference between like a Wendy's nugget and a
Right.
McDonald's nugget.
That makes no sense.
That was his answer. But I think he said between a nugget, a chicken sandwich, a tender.
Yes.
What?
A nugget is smaller. A tender is longer.
Well, that's obvious.
A sandwich is
So we're
regular.
talking about the same size piece of
That's
chicken?
what I was assuming. I don't know. He didn't. This was his answer on the radio.
I can tell the difference between steak and a hamburger.
Yes.
I was assuming they were all. So if they were all cut up to the same size,
you just called his answer stupid, Chris. That's what you did.
He did.
Okay, he did.
We need clarification of
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
maybe we'll ask that for Jay.
Are we doing a crossover?
We got to do their crossover.
Are we doing a crossover though?
We will.
Yes.
Well, that's our crossover.
We want clarification.
We want clarification. We don't need a crossover. Clarify. What the hell are you talking about, man?
Okay.
Come on, Mars.
All right. Well, Chris, let's fire away on theirs.
What's happening on the Carmichael Dave Show? Let's find out right now with the crossover. Here's today's crossover.
Today's crossover. Jason and Doug help Jay and I solve an argument we're having right now. You guys went off the board a little bit. We'll go back. I am deathly afraid of cheating. I'm afraid of it because of karma. I believe that if you're playing cards with somebody and you can see their hand, it is your duty to ask them or let them know that you can see their cards. Jay is of the belief, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you can see their cards, that's free game because it's their responsibility to protect their cards. I think that's cheating by omission. Jay says it's fair play. Guys, where do you come down on that? And I would appreciate input from both Jay, the producer, and Chris, the angry guy that's always texting me angry stuff. So, there you go. Have a great show and the rest of your day.
Dave doesn't obviously win much.
No.
Oh,
I'm not going to win because of karma.
Okay, but is it, well, let's go to the question. Is it cheating if you see their cards? Or
No.
if I'm not holding my cards properly?
That's on you, player.
That's your problem.
But I, honestly, that is, I'm like, hey, I can see your cards.
That's not.
Usually if I'm playing a game.
Let me play my hand, okay? Mind my business over
Okay,
here.
yeah. Nice 7 of hearts.
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
I saw it because you're not.
Jay, tell me, is this any different? I'm playing in the game. Pat Riley's hollering out to play. I'm back at the bench because we know to play.
Okay, Houston Astro.
I'm just telling you.
I'm with you.
So no cheating.
Chris, tell the story real quick about what you used to do with Domino's.
So when we'd have family get-togethers for Domino's, this is like 14, 15.
Told you he was cheating.
Playing with my uncles and my dad, I would make sure to watch all of their beers, and when they got low, I'm like, hey, you guys want me to go get you another one? Like, oh, yeah, thank you. So as I'm giving them the beers, I can totally see what they've got. And I had that system for years until one of my uncles finally caught me.
Dope.
But then they were so impressed by it. Like they weren't even mad about it.
You know my motto.
That's taking cheating. See, you're trying, Chris. That's cheating. But you've told us that you're a cheater. I'm not.
You're not cheating
trying
if you're
See,
not trying.
yes, I admit that's cheating.
Yeah. I don't know that this is like, if it's the line of it's cheating, I think it's just, it's bad on your behalf. Like if I'm showing you, like, keep your cards close or whatever don't show your hand.
I said this to Chris when we previewed this last hour. I said it just depends on who you're playing with. Like if I'm playing here with you guys, like, hey man, tuck your cards, bro, before I smack you across the head.
I got you. I can see your cards.
Now if we're talking a little chip or something, know, Capital Casino.
Money is involved.
That's it. I might need it.
Yeah.
Usually the dealers will tell you that. Usually the dealers are on that. They're pretty good.
Yeah, but hey, look, if the dealer's car's slipping, and I can see that 7 of hearts, or
Hey man, I'm just telling you, keep it to yourself.
I will say this: if you guys